Oh, there it is.
We're here.
We do this every show. It's kind of funny.
It adds a little flavor.
Wait, right?
It just pops up. It's like, hey, we're alive. We're here.
We are live. We are here. So we actually have a guest here tonight. We're gonna bring her on here in a second. She's our first female guest, man. I'm actually kind of excited about it. She is a super City fan. Can't wait to introduce her to you. We're gonna obviously be getting over the Chelsea review and city and community news. We'll be discussing that with her in just a second. Till we do, welcome to the Snobby Boys.
I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype. Hold that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time. Every time.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Snobby Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Colby. That's my homeboy, Joe, over there. I believe I told you guys we have a guest on this evening. We're going to bring her on in just a second. Before we do, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bells, and make sure that you're following us on social media at SnobbyPod. And share our fucking shit, goddammit.
Share the shit. Do it.
All right, we got a guest on tonight. She is a Super City fan, hailing out of Northern California. We've got Kelkster. Oh, damn it, we did it again.
Hey.
What's up? She's all over the screen right now.
Main event.
Right? Give me a second to.
You wanted a big city fan. There
Ryan.
you go.
Exactly. We weren't lying.
Oh,
Definitely
Luke's
not.
here. Hey, Luke.
What up, Luke?
Late for
Got
him.
quite a few in here already. He stays up late. He's always popping in recently.
It's those
Right.
young
On,
kids.
on 7 p.m. hanging out. So
Yeah. When you're young, you can stay up late. I was up till 1 a.m.
Exactly.
last night. I was like dying. I was like, oh, how do I do this?
it's always the next morning.
Because I can't sleep in. So I'm like, oh, if I stay up late, that just means I'm not getting a lot of sleep. Like I slept in without an alarm until I think I woke up at like 7:30 after going to bed at like 1 something. And I couldn't go back to sleep no matter what I did.
God bless it. This is the worst. I'm sitting here trying to like crop you out and like make it look all nice. All right. Well, we're here. We're going to talk some city. We're also going to be getting to know Kelly a little bit better as we get into bro talk. But let's first jump it off with the Chelsea talk, guys. We're finally back. Finally moving forward. Great to fucking see it. This was a hell of a fucking match. I think for the most of us, we walked in here with these new signings, obviously hoping for what happened, but also kind of preparing ourselves for the worst. What were your initial thoughts on the starting 11, Kelpster?
Oh, I was super pumped. I predicted a couple of days ago. I was like, I want to see Husanov and I want to see Marmouche. I was very confident Marmouche was going to start because you don't have a big move like that and not start in your first game. And also, it would have been 3 starts in a row for De Bruyne, and I just don't think his body can do that right now. And I accept that. That's fine. Like, you're older. Like, you don't need to start every game. So I figured he would slot in for that. And then when the Diaz news came out, I was like, oh, Husanov better start. I was like, you're going to the deep end, kid. And
yeah,
he had a rough couple of minutes there, but, you know, he recovered. I was very impressed. And I really enjoyed it. That was a good performance yesterday. I mean, it took a little while to get going. The first 30 minutes was kind of rough. I was having a few meltdowns on Twitter, but it got better. Yeah, I'm very emotional on Twitter. Let's put it that
it's
way.
okay.
You got
It's okay.
You got to let it out.
Yeah.
Gotta let it out.
Very happy with the win. Very, very happy with the win. Huge. Needed it in the Champions League race because you gotta be realistic. That's where we are right now. We're in a Champions League race. A race to get Champions League for that. But yeah, just the excitement was just exciting having the new faces in the lineup.
Joe, what'd you think, bro?
Yeah, that was the exciting part was getting to see two of our new signings immediately thrust into the starting lineup, even after having maybe a training session or two under their belts to get thrown into the deep end against Chelsea. I'm glad that Kev got rest for the same reason that Kelly said. He has, and not only has he started, he's been going like the full 90 for the most part. He's been doing heavy minutes, and we cannot, if we want him to stick around and help us throughout the remainder of the season, we can't have him starting and doing a full 90 all the time. And Marmoush gives us a little something different. I think we saw that during the match, which was great to see. I like the rest of the lineup. Nunez is starting to settle in a little bit more at the right back spot. It really seems like he is going to be the option going forward, first choice option there going forward with Kyle moving on to AC Milan officially at this point. And then as soon as Ake is not available, Diaz is out, who else are you going to throw in there? I mean, they could have started JSP, I guess, but why not test the young guy that you just spent some money on and see what he's got? And sure, nervy moments to start, mishit back pass, and then picking up a yellow on a late challenge on Cole Palmer. But after that, I think we saw a lot of good from him. So, so it was an exciting match, man. I honestly was expecting Chelsea to score a few more. I think they had some really good chances early on to make it more than just 1-0. And thank you, Cole Palmer, for, I guess, having your head up your own ass. And
stupid
the ball
pass over the box.
I have no idea what he was doing. Maybe he forgot that he doesn't play for Man City anymore. But
he wants to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was interesting watching all of them talking after the match on the pitch and covering their mouths and talking like this so the cameras couldn't pick up what they were talking about. He still has a good working relationship with the rest of the guys that are still here, because they all immediately talked to him, gave him some love afterwards. But just really excited that the results fell the way they did. We're firmly in fourth at the moment. We're back in control of our own destiny when it comes to finishing top four. And we have a lot of humongous matches coming up starting on Wednesday. So it's not going to get any easier for us. But from what I saw yesterday, we got some players coming in that are going to help us, and there's reason to be optimistic at this point. So, man, the chat is popping off already this evening. I love it.
Yes,
Thank you all for being in here. You're killing it.
This is actually the first night that I haven't had the who's watching where bubbles up there. So it's like I don't really know who's here, and I'm not looking up at the number at the top, or at least I'm trying not to. But yeah, comments are popping off tonight. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Super awesome. I do want to address this comment though. Thank you, Kurt, by the way, for coming in, tuning in for the first time. Super awesome. Really appreciate it. We have gone through and done our research, especially considering the fact that we had a recent post from Manchester City on the page stating or showing Vitor Hayes, is how you pronounce his name. Vitor Hayes was with Fernandinho, and he's been spending time with Fernandinho.
Oh, I love that.
So
I just love saying
there's much reason to believe that he will be and has been said to be filling said CDM role. So it may be a case of we're not having to look for anybody right now, and that we actually have plug and play plus somebody in the wings waiting to take up that spot and rotate with Rodri when he comes back. So
they need
that would
him
be
to be
super
on the
awesome.
pitch to communicate with Husanov.
Right? Right? That poor kid. I felt so bad for him, man. And everybody really, you almost saw the tears come out of his face. You almost did.
That's just his face. He looked like he was ready to cry. I felt
Yeah.
so bad. And of course my
Yeah.
TV glitched out right when the goal, like right when it happened. Like, so my TV glitched out because I'm casting from a phone. And,
Mhm.
and I turned it back on. I'm like, why is it 1-0? And then I went on Twitter to find the replay and I was like, oh.
Oh, that's why.
I saw a clip of LB's thing. He didn't even say anything. He was just like, and it was
Yeah,
so-
right.
It's like
Mhm.
the emoji,
that
like,
was like
that
that was
was so
literally
funny.
all of us.
The funniest reaction I've ever seen to a goal.
This is interesting. Have a little word in Ederson's ear while he's here. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Well, and we don't really know the certainty of Ederson. He is now 31 years old. He is on the back end of his career. He has a family to take care of, and I'm sure the money situation is what is top priority, making sure that there is generational wealth for his family going forward. So, I mean, while he's here, yeah, Dino, if you're in his ear, make sure it's do your fucking job so the other guy doesn't take it. I can't say that I haven't loved seeing Ortega between the posts. He's actually been really refreshing to see. The competition there, who knows? As
The
of right
last
now,
two
Eddie's
matches
beating
that-
I
the
think
last two
yesterday
matches he
demonstrated how
started.
important Ederson still
Yeah.
is for our team because he had such a good game and he led to a lot of the buildup yesterday. And that assist, I mean, it's always a good game when Ederson assists.
Oh,
We
shit.
play. We have that in the
Yeah.
community news a
Ooh.
little later.
Yep,
Dude,
we'll be talking about him a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm glad that one house captain brought up Eddie because that was one of the players that I wanted to discuss this evening because the last two matches with him back in, you can see it's a different city when he's back there for me. And I know he hasn't been as chosen as often as he has in previous seasons because Ortega has been doing well, but his ability with his feet allows us to play in a completely different style. And especially with Holland's physicality, when teams are dumb and play him man on man with center backs that are not his equal, it opens up an entirely different type of attack for us. And we can hit long balls from Eddie forward, who can put them on a dime from so far away. And then that allows those long balls as a center back, they're very difficult to deal with, especially when you're trying to wrestle with Erling Haaland the entire time. But seeing Eddie back to the best version of him has been a sight for sore eyes. And my house is a very big Ederson supporting family. 3 of us have his jersey. So I would love to see him continue on as a keeper. 31 isn't too bad of an age. They usually can play till their late 30s because of the.
Look at Neuer.
Yeah, exactly. And his feet are not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Being able to play those balls that he's become known for. Got his 5th assist in the Premier League as a keeper, which is tied now for the most all time. I have no doubt that he'll eventually break that throughout the remainder of the 4 months we have left of the season. So if it's a money thing and they can, come to some kind of agreement where he gets a little bump in pay because he's not one of the higher earners as far as keepers go in the Premier League, if they can accommodate that, I would be totally fine with him hanging around a little bit longer. But we'll see what happens, man. And if he decides he does want to go for the reasons Colby mentioned, where he can set himself and his kids and grandkids up for life, man. You can never begrudge somebody taking care of their family like that. So I was very happy to see Eddie continue doing what Eddie does yesterday, especially against Chelsea.
Yeah, and you can tell the difference too. Like Chelsea weren't pressing him, and I noticed when Ortega was playing those couple of games, they were pressing him.
They were.
He just
Hard.
can't deal with it as well. I think he did a nice
easily
filling
shakeable.
job, but I think that gave Ederson just a little break to clear his head. And now we're seeing that he's like coming back to his best. So maybe that was actually worth it. The little break he got.
Sometimes you need a kick in the pants and see other guys at your position playing well to give you that extra motivation to be at your best. And we've talked about that previously on the pod. where this whole normally that's a big thing for us because we always have competition for places.
Mhm.
But this past 4 months where we've had a rough stretch, there hasn't been competition for places because everybody's been injured. So guys have just been starting because they have to start, not because they've earned it necessarily. So having competition for spots again will be a good thing and will bring the best out of guys. Maybe
I
that's what we're
agree.
seeing with Ederson right now.
Yeah, and hopefully some of the other people who've not been performing lately will start getting that competition and start improving. Not
Mhm.
naming any names, but
Oh, but we gonna name some names. We gonna do it tonight.
I'll start Bernardo. Although yesterday, very impressive, and I think the fact that he kind of calmed down Husinov, that is very underrated. What he did, I didn't think he had that in his locker because I knew he had the armband for a while, and I never understood why. And I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Steve
Black,
Steve being Steve.
Oh,
you are correct.
Steve Black's one of our regulars. I'm sure you've seen him in the comments elsewhere.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
I always see it on the replay. I'm the queen of watching replays because I work from home, so
right.
I have everything on 1.5 speed because I listen to too much stuff. So otherwise, I can't listen to it all.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with a good replay.
So let's take a further scope into our other signing, Marmoush. How great he has looked, how he has sparked our attack back into some form of semblance of a attack. Yeah, I was really, for me, I was super impressed with him breaking the lines. I know a lot of people were kind of getting frustrated with him being offside as much as he was, but I think for me, that's something that we haven't really done for a while. Holland kind of just skulks around the line, doesn't really try to do so much. With Marmoush's direct play, it opens up so much more, especially for Holland. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, you could see Holland had a lot of space that he doesn't normally have because nobody else has been able to give it to him. And those runs he was making, I was like, damn, we've just been missing that the whole season. But it was a culture shock to see offsides again. I was like, damn, we haven't seen that since Jesus. And I like erased it from my mind because I think Holland has been offside like 15 times in his entire City career. The guy's just never offside. I think Marmoush surpassed him or came close to it.
Like one game.
Yeah, in the one game. But I mean, part of it's just, it's his first game. He's on one training session. I'm sure they'll learn it. I think he was also just really excited because you could tell from his interview how happy he was to be here and what he has this self-imposed chip on his shoulder. Like he has a point to prove, and he probably just got way too excited and jumped the gun too many times. But I think he'll settle down. And I think
I personally don't give a crap that he was offside because that means he's being aggressive and being direct, and that timing that it takes to get that long ball pass through to him will come with training sessions. They have had very little time to get any kind of coherent play between him and the guys playing the balls to him, but seeing a guy making runs in behind like that and playing off of Holland's hold up play, man, that's exciting to think that they can start using Holland in that way, where he can hold the ball up, flick it on to Phil, flick it on to Marmoush, who's willing and eager and going to always be making those runs in behind and looking to stretch the defense, which is going to open up space for Kevin and Phil in that midfield area. You're just going to see so much more space available because the guys we have fast dudes. The pace thing isn't a problem. We have plenty of fast guys, but all of our fast guys want the ball at their feet and to dribble. Doku, Savino, Jack, all of them want the ball and they wanted to maneuver with it and use their pace that way. Marmoush doesn't need the ball to be effective. He's going to be making runs all over the pitch and creating space in different ways. So that is very exciting to see. He well worth the money that we just spent on him, and very excited to see what he's going to come bring to this. Because everybody was saying he was going to be a like for like replacement, kind of like for Jules. And there's a little bit of that, but after watching him play, he's a little bit different of a player.
Right. He's
than
definitely
Jules.
built different.
Yeah,
He's a little different than Jules. Jules wasn't making runs like this. He was more
no.
trying to drop in and play link-up play and pass and move and everything. Marmouche is like, hey, I'm going, hit it for me. I'm going to go chase it. And we've needed that variety and diversity in attack for so long. This was such a welcome change. And you could just see his energy was infectious with everybody else. We've been lacking like that kind of personality in the squad lately because everybody's been feeling so, I guess, down about the performances, about their personal situations, whatever's been going on in their personal lives. Because I'm sure a lot of that's they're human. That's going to naturally carry over into your play. But seeing his smiling energy, his constant running, like that's super exciting to see because he's clearly not just a striker. I mean, for Frankfurt, he was playing leading the line, but he can play in a variety of places and it's going to be super effective. It's unfortunate that we can't have him on Wednesday, but he is going to make a difference in the Premier League going forward for us. So I'm very excited about it.
For sure.
Yeah, I know it's a bummer about Wednesday, but hopefully we got to win without him. But he'll be in the stadium.
He'll be there with them.
Rodri and Diaz and Ake on the sidelines.
Right.
There you go.
Imagine next season when Rodri's back and we actually have somebody who can do a long ball to Marmouche and
from the
Holland.
midfield.
Ooh.
Give us another dimension. That's something I also wanted to say too, is the fact that Marmouche gives or helps Holland create another dimension for himself by being as direct as he is. Holland has become, and I've said this in the last podcast, and I've been thinking it for a little bit, he's become more so one-dimensional. And like I said, him skulking around the line has not helped him get any kind of service whatsoever because he's not helping the team. He's really only trying to help himself. I think that he has a 1-2 punch up there with him. It creates this whole other dynamic for him. It's like he's excited to play again, I guess I should say.
Yeah, his body language looks so much better too. Because during that run, he had some, like, I was calling him out a lot. His body language was really stinky. He had a bad attitude, and I get it because nobody could get him the ball, and he was just being like double and triple teamed. And he was like, "What's the point? I'm just standing around. I can't. Nobody's finding me." And then he was taking it in the press too, and the fans online were all giving him a bunch of crap. So I think this is going to open him up quite a bit, and we might start seeing some Dortmund Holland.
That would be great to see back again.
I'm here for it.
It's gonna be fun. I'm getting 17-18 vibes from this signing already. Like I think Pep's remastered it, especially yesterday with the two fullbacks. Dude, this is gonna be 17-18 ball next season. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Exactly. Going into next season, I think if we can take the summer and not really worry about Club World Cup and focus on going into the 25-26 season, that this could be a 17-18 year. It could be. It has the makings of it with these, and we're not even finished signing people in this window. I mean, the deadline's coming up, but apparently there's still a fourth in the works. Like that's
there's a rumor today about Cambiasso and a Douglas Luiz thing.
Yeah,
like we'll get Luis on loan and then we'll sign Cambiasso permanently. That's the rumor. I don't know how accurate.
I want Juve and City to stop flirting with each other and just take care of fucking business if we're going to do it. Because not only is the deadline coming up, but we need to get everybody assimilated. There is the potential of bringing in all these new people, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody comes up to a fucking wall at full speed.
Or fixtures.
That's what I'm scared of happening.
Bodies. And this run we're coming up on is brutal, so it'd be nice to have some new bodies in. I also worry about Kovacic because he has an injury record. He gets injured a lot, so I think we need an extra body. And also, I know Douglas Luiz isn't like the greatest thing ever, but I think he's a better option than Kovacic, who is doing a good job. I'm not trying to slander him, but he's doing the best he can in a position he doesn't know how to do.
Exactly.
And, I admire it, but we could do better.
How many players we've played out of position over the last few months, especially with the way that Pep has players rotating on pitch anyways. Now you're really like Mateus Nunes, who's a 7 or an 8 on a good day. You've been putting him at right back People have
getting
been
better at
bitching
that,
about
though.
him, but he's getting better at it.
Looks good. Defensively, I'm
And
not convinced, but
the whole trust thing.
yesterday.
There was this whole trust thing with Pep doesn't trust Nunez. Well, I beg to differ because Nunez is literally he's played more positions on the pitch than any player has this year. I would say that's an immense amount of trust to be able to put somebody so far out of position and then them actually get better each match that they play at said position. So, yeah, I Pep is awesome. I just want to say that.
That he is.
He can he can pull anything on anybody except for Calvin Phillips. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other story.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it.
Can't make him drink.
The Bills just scored a touchdown.
Don't worry, the NFL referees will step
I know,
in
yeah.
and
It's pointless to get my hopes up. It's only the first quarter. No, second quarter.
Right.
Yeah.
I know Jess will be a little
the Bills
bit
go
mad.
up by like 40 points. That's what it takes.
Please. Gundo is so slow.
Sorry.
You know, so for the last couple of matches, he's actually looked a bit like his old self, a bit. But on the whole, I mean, what do you expect out of a 32, 33-year-old who's
34?
34 now? Oh, God.
I don't think
You're just turning 38.
I know. I'm like, I wish I was 34 again. That'd be awesome.
right. I know.
Take me back to 34.
Those are
I
good
think he's
years.
looking better though because he's not playing as much, so he's actually getting to rest. And I think the thing could be said about De Bruyne. Like, I don't think De Bruyne is a. I think he's a 1 game a week player, 1 start a week, and then you could bring off the bench. But I don't think he can play every game like he has been. And that's Marmoush should give him some rotation. Like, I feel like Foden, Marmoush, and KDB are all. It's always gonna be 2 of them, and I'll just keep cycling through the 2 of them. But I would imagine it's primarily Foden and Marmoush. Early predictions.
I think Gundo's been helped in when he has played. They're playing him with Kovacic, and they're kind of playing almost like a double pivot at times. And he's got extra cover, and he's not being asked to be the guy that's covering all that ground in behind our attacking 5 players. You get the best out of him when he has somebody else there that can handle a little bit more of the running, and he only has to be responsible for covering half of the field instead of the entire midfield. So getting some rest, getting some extra help so he's not having to run so much during the game, huge for someone who's 34. As soon as the mid-30s start hitting and aches and pains don't go away nearly as quickly as they used to. So getting that extra rest has definitely been helpful for him.
Also, I think it helps Kovacic also, because I think he does better with someone next to him as well.
Yes, 100%. Because go ahead.
I gotta give Steve Smith the air horn for that one. If you know, you know. Do you know who Nate the Great is, Kate or Kelly?
I probably do. Not off the top of my head, but if you say it, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah, I might be all that you get. Dun, dun, dun. No?
It'll come to me.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, I've only seen the first season. And it was a long time ago.
We got to fix that.
When it first came out. I know I need to watch the rest.
Oh, you need to get through it. No, that's a good show.
Just remember Jamie effing Tart.
Jamie fucking Tart. He is a tart.
Man City player. Hey.
Right?
That's when I was like, oh, they're really paying a lot of money to be on the show, aren't they? I bet a lot of people became fans because of it, so wouldn't surprise me.
Do you remember what number he wore for City?
No. Like I said, I watched the first season when it came out. That was a long time ago. I don't remember it at all. I'm
pretty sure it was Oscar Bob's number.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure. Well, I might have to double verify that.
I have to look it up. This is going to inspire me to go binge it.
It should. That is the point.
I'm pretty sure it's on the place I watch shows. We'll just say that.
Do you watch another show on there? Sorry, we're gonna go off tangent here. Do you watch another show on there called Shrinking?
No,
Or
I don't watch
have you?
any Apple TV.
Oh,
I watched it when I
that's
had a
good one,
free
too.
trial. Okay, this is when I had Apple TV in 2019. Because that was the last year that they gave you a year of it when you bought a product. And I bought my mom an iPad for her birthday, and she had no interest in it. So I put the credit into my account. So I had it for that 1 year. The last thing I remember watching was some show they did where it was like out in the African safari, and they were like shooting it all on an iPhone. I don't even know what it was called. Cats? Maybe it was called Cats. About lions and stuff in the savannah. But yeah, and only season 1 of Ted Lasso had come out at that point. So I watched that, and then I think season 2 had started, and my free trial ended. So I was like, I saw the first episode of season 2, and then I stopped watching it.
Joe, I believe you're correct. It was 51.
Let's go.
Oscar Bob's pretty good.
You were close.
Larry Foote. That's all I remember. That.
Can always remember the weird numbers. Oh, we were so close to an AK-47. Oh, darn. AK-45. Good enough.
Oscar Bob is in training. Yes, he is. It's been nice.
He's in some of the pictures today.
I'm still of the mindset that we do not push this guy back. Fractures.
I think he'll play the Lake Orient game. He'll play Lake Orient, and I think that's where Victor Hayes will make his debut. Is that game as well?
I will take that prediction. I will take that prediction 100%.
I don't see where Hayes gets game time otherwise.
I don't either.
And that's fine. Like, he's young. He needs to bulk up a little bit. Speaking of confidence in your interviews from Marmouche, I felt the same way from Victor Hayes. So I'm excited to see what he can do at some point. He might be more of a Club World Cup guy, though. we got to figure out who to play in the club. That might be like Echeverry season, and all these like French guys are going to be Oscar Bob and Echeverry and Victor Hayes and Kuzanov and all that. That's going to be our Club World Cup squad. Like Holland, go on an island somewhere. Go hang out.
I mean, exactly. All first teamers, vacation. Yeah. Everybody's new. You're coming with us to the States.
If you're over 30, you can't come.
Right.
Yeah, you all rest. Exactly.
That I want to see him on his own, to be honest. We've seen him paired with Holland. Right?
I don't think Holland will play the Lake Orient game.
Oh no.
So maybe we'll see Marmouche unless they want to bring in Mbemba and boom, that guy.
Mbemba.
Devin, the fill-in guy. He was good. I liked him.
I do too. I liked how he was able
got good
to
movement.
Exactly that.
He only cost like $1 million, so we'll probably sell him for like $10 million or something. So that'd be a pretty good profit.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
I wish we could all just be like, financial people for club. I wonder how much money they make.
Well, their salaries are online. Oh, the money financial people. I don't know.
Yeah, like the people who
behind the scenes folks.
Right, stroking checks and shit. What if they actually do show their checks to them if they're in a bad mood? Because that was on Ted Lasso, and I always wondered that. And I've been wondering that since I was a kid, even with professional players of sports over here. Like, man, do they go through like bad times and they just show them their check and they're like fucking happy? Because I would be. I'd be like, damn. All right, yeah, I'm gonna like it.
I'm good now.
I'm ready.
I'm good.
Let's
go. House Captain had a good question with Bob coming back. Echeverry, Marmouche now here. What does that mean for McAtee, since those three guys all kind of play in the spaces that he's going to be looking for?
I think the journos have kind of squashed this already. As much as he has been said to be going to potentially a Bundesliga or a Serie A club, City's not letting him go. It's kind of City's will right now. And I'm okay with this because we don't know quite yet where Kevin's going to be in the summer. You know what I mean? Like, if there's going to be a close like-to-like replacement, I'm saying it's McAtee for Kev, or Kev for McAtee, whatever, how you want to say it. We kind of need him at this point. If we don't want to go out, we
certainly need him for the next 4 months. That's for sure.
Yeah. If we don't want to go out and spend in the summer, especially at this position, we need to harbor and facilitate any needs, wants, and desires this kid has to make him the best he can possibly be.
I just think Pep has to play him. Even if it's like 20, 30 minutes a game at the end, I just think he really needs to show him that. Or else I don't blame him for wanting to leave because, he has a career to develop as well. Like, he can't just sit on our bench. We can't just hold him hostage. No. He needs to play and learn. And he's done the loan. He's done his time. So now it's time to see if he's good enough for our team. And I've liked the late cameos he had. I know the PSG one was kind of quiet, but I think our whole team had shut down at that point. So I don't really like call him out. They're like, well, he didn't do anything when he came on. I was like, yeah, neither did our entire
Nobody
team.
did anything.
We just got skinned alive. Like, it wasn't because of him. It was just the team just was like, nope, we're done.
Right.
Yeah, disaster class on the defense. Ugh, that back line, oof. I don't ever want to see that again. I really don't.
We might see a crazy one against Leighton, being that we fielded what was the last one where we had literally two defenders on?
Two defenders.
Yeah.
I would say 1.5.
I've ever seen.
Kenji's injured. I think Kenji's been playing injured for a long time, and I really hope that Pep trusts Husanov to be playing because I think Kenji needs a break. Like I said, I think he's been injured since that Spurs game. I just don't think he's ever been able to recover because no one else can stay healthy.
There's nobody else available. He's the least injured out of all of the injured center backs we have currently. Unless
you count Yashko as a center back, which I kind of think we don't anymore. I think he's become like a flying wingback.
Right.
I mean, hey, it worked yesterday.
It's working. It's working. Good. He was fired up too after missing those first two chances, and then he was able to get the first goal for us. You could see the intensity level was back, and the energy was different from him with that. And it was so nice seeing two outside backs connecting and being dangerous out wide for us again. That's been a while since we've had both of them being attack minded and being influential in the attack at the same time. So it was so good to see the Yashko that we were accustomed to last year, because we haven't really seen a whole lot of that version of him this year. He's not been as influential as he has been in the past for us. So having him back to his best certainly helps, especially when we're hurting so much in the back line.
Yeah, he was that way to start the season, and I think he's just been overplayed. So I think
he's one of the few that have also been there damn near every game, because, and with Ake out, there's really nobody else that can really play that left back position comfortably. Yeah. They've played Rico there a bit because he played there for England for them at times, and it's not the same. And with no Ake, there's nobody else that's left sided that can play there really. So him and Akanji have been forced to play through anything that's ailing them or any kind of poor form, because there's just nobody else available.
Zero options.
Yeah.
Get what you do with what you can with what you're given. Like, that's the way we've been playing the whole season. I mean, there was a question as far as looking into the injuries. I mean, sometimes you know what I mean? Like, the injury bug hits. Sometimes it sticks around. Sometimes, it's short lived. But right now, we're getting hit where it hurts, and we know it. We've responded, I feel, incredibly well, considering the fact. I mean, we could have folded and everything by now and just been on a completely shit run. We've picked ourselves back up. We've moved forward. We've made some good signings. There are still people that are coming in. Everybody keeps banging on we need another midfielder drum. Well, we already had them, if you forgot. We'll get into it in a minute, though.
I think he's on one goal. Take that box
Colby, to that point, think back to when Liverpool won the Champions League. The next season, they had a very similar run of form where they had the injury bug. And what happened to them? They fell out of Champions League competition completely and were in mid-table. Arsenal, same thing. They've been out of Champions League when they went through shitty runs. Chelsea, same thing. Zach, I love you. But they had a whole different ball game with drama that went on there. with the ownership and all that kind of shit. So they had a bad run and they were out of the Champions League. Man United out of the Champions League. We're going through all this and we're still fighting for top 4. We're still in top 4. So it could be yes, exactly. It could be worse. It could be we could be them.
They're in a relegation scrap.
Yeah. So even with all the injuries, all the crazy shit that's going on, we're still battling for top 4. We're still in 2 other competitions. We still have the FA Cup. Win on Wednesday, and we're in the playoffs for the Champions League. So it stinks with the injuries. The run of form was really shitty, obviously, but we're still here. We're still competing for top 4, and other clubs that like to think they're our rivals have had similar situations and folded like a cardboard box. So we have not.
I hate the refs.
Yes, oh, really? Poor referee in the NFL.
Shocking,
no
right?
way. Shocker.
God, I am
It's
shocked.
like I predicted this earlier. NFL.
Zach's talking shit at you.
He knows what I was talking about. Yeah. He knows what I was talking about.
Kelly, Zach's one of our good buddies. He lives up in Ohio, and he is a massive Chelsea fan. So he right.
I know a couple.
Exactly. So here's the thing. I've been banging on this drum for a minute now. Liverpool still have it in them to get injured and to drop points before the end of the season. The last 6 games of their season is not going to be an easy run for them. There's anything and anything that is possible right now with this title race. We can still be in it.
Yeah, I think we can. I think we just have to focus on ourselves, like Diaz said in that documentary a couple years ago. I mean, truer words were never spoken.
Truer words never spoken.
We have to survive this stretch, though, because this stretch is going to be very difficult. But we could help ourselves because we do play Liverpool. So if we help ourselves and beat them, that's 3 points made up right there. And then we have to hope for some help. But we also, we have to play Arsenal, so we can get ahead of that. We could make a dent in their lead on us because I think right now it's 6. So if we beat them, it would drop to 3. And then we play Forest coming up. So I think they're still ahead of us.
All the teams that we play
Newcastle
in the next few games are all right around us on the table. So it's lots of room to maneuver. It's a great opportunity.
Ground to gain. I almost said gain to. Or I don't know. I was mixing them up in my head. What's it? Grain to gound or something. Tongue twister. But yeah. So yeah, we just have to. Yeah, just take it one game at a time. I've kind of been on that bandwagon for a long time. I've been going back and forth about this Champions League game. At first, I was like, "Screw it, screw the Champions League. I don't want to bother with it. We're not winning it, so just get rid of the extra games." But the more I think about it, I do think we need to get into the R16 for the coefficient to guarantee like that 5th slot for England. I do feel like it's going to be a top 5, but if we drop out, that's going to lower the chances of it. Because last year, I think we all thought England was going to get 5 slots, and then everybody crashed out early. So
yeah,
I think we need to do our part to make sure that doesn't happen. So, and I think Marmouche and the new guys can play in the playoff if we make it.
Yeah, it's just the group stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, can they play? Well, does that count as like the playoff? Because there's the 2-game playoff. If we
win the playoff into the next bracket, they are not allowed.
Oh, they're not allowed to
be a part of. I don't think they're allowed to be a part of the side until it's into the next round. They're actually allowed to be. Yeah.
Well, there goes that talking point. But yeah,
I might be wrong, but I feel like that's how the format goes. I'm not 100% certain. So we're just waffling right now.
There's some really good teams in there too. I will scream if we make the playoff and have to play Real Madrid because that's the team I hate the most. It's
so funny. You look at the table and you see clubs like us, Real Madrid. What was the other one that's super low?
Munich in there too,
right? Like it's just like, and there was a commentator that was like, "Oh, this is why this competition was made this way, so you can have matchups like this and how great it makes the competition. No, it doesn't. If you're having these lower or these high teams play in the earlier rounds and they're knocking themselves out, by the final round, you're going to have teams like Brest that are a team, and they're really good right now. I'm not going to say that they're not. They totally are. But like, they were a nobody up until 2 months ago.
They just got hot in the competition. Also, it'll be a nightmare scenario if it was Real Madrid and Man City in the playoff. That would be an absolute nightmare for the Champions League. They would not want to see that whatsoever, because like that means one of their highest drawing teams is going to be eliminated before the next round starts. So, right. Yeah, that's got to be something they're flipping out about. I think there's no good teams outside of it right now. Now that PSG won, I think they're 22nd or something. I know we're
They didn't move up very far.
Yeah, they didn't move up too far. If they get a draw in that game against Stuttgart, we should be able to slip in. Well, I think we get in no matter what if we win.
Yeah, as long as we win, we're in. Winning in is the scenario for sure.
Yeah,
because we'll move ahead of.
I'm hoping that just galvanizes everybody. I know we want to Marmouche,
and we're at home.
Yeah, but we can maybe Phil Foden can channel some of that Marmouche energy and run.
Well, Foden has been on phenomenal form. 7-7 for him. He is back to scoring goals on a regular basis, and you'd love to see it. And you see the body language is shifting for him too. You can see it in him when he's on the pitch now. It was not the same Phil from what we saw earlier in the season when he was struggling for form. He's back into his confident, best form of himself. So you have to love seeing what we have from Phil over the last few matches. And I don't see any reason as to why it would slow down for him at this point. He's going to continue on performing at this point, barring, knock on wood, any ailments that might creep up. So I love what I'm seeing from Phil.
Also, yesterday I thought he had a defensive masterclass. Like he was tracking back. Like I've never seen that out of him.
Yes,
so that was really awesome to see his overall game being better.
He and Bernie used to be our pests and nuisances in the press, where they would just close down people constantly with endless amounts of energy, and we saw that again yesterday. So much better seeing that out of both of those guys, because our press is not the same when those guys aren't doing their thing. So I'm very excited to see Phil being Phil again. That's the 47 that we've come to love and expect to see at this point.
Yeah, it's just showing him developing as a player too.
Mm-hmm.
Not just being a goal scoring threat. Like adding more to his game just makes him a better player, and it'll help the team in the long run.
Big facts.
He's going to be here a long time. Let's be frank. I will not be surprised.
He's not going nowhere.
8 or a 10-year contract, just like Holland. I wish we could.
I hope that they put him on that.
A little older, so give him a 5-year deal.
I hope they put him on a long contract like that. I mean, other teams, yeah, I'm sure they would chomp at the bit to pick him up, but he don't want to play nowhere else.
No,
he's a city boy.
This is home stuff. He don't want to leave his home.
I think he's had a quote saying that he doesn't ever see himself playing anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, even if we, knock on wood, if we did get relegated, I could see him playing in the championship. I mean, we're not going to get relegated, but that would be interesting.
That was absolutely iconic.
So good.
I want to make that a shirt, but people aren't buying the Pew Pew shirt, so you gotta buy that one before you get the next one, guys.
Make it a series of shirts.
And the smirk from Holland too after he scored that goal when he came over was just absolutely legendary. It was fantastic. That's
become his signature in a sense. He did that in the Burnley game last year to open the game. That little thing.
Yep.
That's when you know. That's when you know shit's real.
He's feeling good.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Him getting on early is always a good thing for us too. We can get him in the back of the net, get him feeling good about himself. The game will then run itself.
Yeah. That's a good comment. Since they look like they're having fun for the first time in a while.
Yes.
I totally agree with
Definitely.
that.
Yes.
You saw
We're
smiles on
back to having
everybody's
fun.
face. Like, it's just good. Yeah, that was a really good performance, too. I think that's up there with one of our better performances this year.
For,
And it was just needed.
sure. There's not a lot to pick from, let's be honest.
Ones that don't include Salford and
Yes. That's about
the
it.
Carabao Cup game, whatever that fight was. Coventry? Was it Coventry? No, I don't remember. I think it was. No.
It was a lower team.
I'm like, Coventry?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It's a Carabao. We don't care about that no more.
Exactly. Can we never
at some
care about
point, we have to go for it. Because Erling Haaland does need to complete English football. And that's all he's missing.
You're right. Now
that he's a Community Shield, he needs a Carabao. So at some point, we have to go for it.
He's got 9.5 years to do it.
Yep.
Plenty of time.
Maybe in like 6 years from now, we'll have a shit team again, and he'll be the only thing anchoring us. And then we just run the Carabao Cup. That's all we care about that season.
I have this
These
theory.
are all theoretics, guys.
I have a theory that Pep's last season, he's going to go batshit crazy, and he's going for the quad. We're going to sign, if we sign Cambiazo, and if we sign a big boy this summer, like Barea if we sign Barea, he's the pick for me for that one. And if we had a midfield of Rodri, Barea, Foden, and then had Marmoush, Savio, and Holland, and then a back line of Diaz, Vardiol left back, Diaz. I want to say Husanov, but realistically, I'd go with Stones, and then Cambiasso as a right back. I was like, we could win the quad next season. Like, throwing it out there. It's very bold, but that team would cook. Absolutely cook. I know it's not FIFA, but
right.
Game plan, though. I do think that's kind of their game plan. Is I think they're gonna just patch up the midfield with I don't know, hopefully with Louise or somebody, and then I think they're saving the budget for the summertime. Like I don't know who came up with the theory, but I go along with it completely. Like I'm really convinced that whoever they want for a midfielder is just not available right now, and then they're going to sign him in the summer, whoever that person is.
I mean, it makes sense for our typical spending trends. I mean, it would make total sense with our typical spending trends. We just splash this summer, but it's also who's available and what we need as far as a fit. You know,
how many years have we heard about this war chest? Like 5 years now, practically. I'm like, show me the money. Show me the money. Jerry Maguire, show me the money. And to be fair,
the money.
They have done it. To be fair, they have done it in January. Spent over $100 million in January is impressive.
It is. And quality players too. They're not just like, here, this is the guy I need right now. You know what I mean? They're actually quality players.
Oh yeah. We took the most informed player in Germany. And if not the whole continent. It's like him and Salah are the two most informed strikers or forwards, and we went and did that. I'm like, that's my oil club. I need that sweatshirt that says oil club.
You know what? I really thought about.
We're back, baby.
I really thought about changing the name of Snobby Boys to the Oil Club.
Hey man, we all use oil. Who cares? I mean, a lot of money off oil stuff. So
listen, everything that you have, you consume, whatever it may be, it comes from oil.
Exactly. That's why I don't get any of these people. They're like, oil's evil. I was like,
oh yeah, totally.
You get to work every day, and then they just have nothing to say.
Exactly.
It's like, good luck driving anywhere. Good luck eating any food.
I suggest everybody go out and watch the show Landman, and you'll understand how good oil is. It's not really that it's good. It's what we are relying upon.
It's a necessity.
Literally. It's a necessity at this point.
Also,
right?
They don't realize if they're American, then they're being hypocrites because America has quite a big oil economy as well.
Massive. And it's just about to get
time.
bigger. And it's just about to get bigger.
North Dakota is going to be gone in a few years. All the oil there. What if Canada becomes a state? Think, the oil shales they are.
That's I think the grand plan. I think that's the grand plan.
We're going to create the great Northern American continent. Who knows what's in Greenland too? Hey,
Denmark.
Well, tongue in cheek, by the way.
Just give it right.
Just to clarify, I'm just joking.
This is banter. That's all it is. We're gonna big right,
Recruit. Hey, you got the
dude. His
gadgets
puns
in the
are
house.
always next level. Always next level.
115 for life. I have a.
That's right.
I've said this before. If we win the 115 case, I'm gonna get a really tiny 115 tattoo. There's some other significance besides this, but it's like these two things combined. I'm like, I'm just gonna get like something really tiny, like really
So
tiny, like very
either
tiny.
something happened on January 15th or November the 5th.
Now there's this blog I really like, and it's called the Funny 115.
Okay.
I'm like obsessed. This blog got me through COVID, really, at a time when I was really down in my life. So I feel like I owe a lot of good things to this blog. So
COVID was a ratchet ass time for me. I don't want to ever think about that time period of my life.
the only good thing that came out of it was my sourdough starter, which
There
I
you
started
go.
2 months before COVID. 2 months before COVID, everybody copied me. I was a trendsetter. What can I say?
Right. We're gonna go to a little break real quick. When we come back, we're gonna talk city community news, things on Claudio Echeverri, Jeremy Doku, Severine Nipin. We're also gonna be talking about season ticket holders. Some of y'all need to shut your fucking mouths. And then scapegoating players is another topic we're gonna get on, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about Michael Oliver. And jeez, that
I
was
should
wild.
call my friend
right?
up to join the stream.
There you go.
Arsenal guy has been bitching nonstop since yesterday.
Well, he's gonna hate us.
We'll
we'll be right back. What the hell? Kelly was actually not the advertisement, just so everybody knows.
Sure she was.
Dude, as much as I love this streaming service that we have, there's some massive flaws in it. And I mean, again, I'm appreciative of it and I get how it works, but like there are times where it will shoot like her thing was down where our names are, and it shot all the way up at the top as soon as I pressed the button. If you saw on if you guys could see what I see, then you would understand what I'm saying. I digress. Anywho, so Claudio Echeverri. A lot of yous have been bitching and bitching and bitching about how you want to center mid. We've had him the whole time. I personally don't believe that we need to go out and spend money if we've got him coming in, and the way that he's looking right now, currently as he's playing for Argentina, he slots in very nicely.
Yeah, we're gonna have an abundance of like these tens and forwards.
Right.
You'll have McAtee, you'll have Echeverri, you'll have De Bruyne, Foden, and then you have Doku, Grealish, Savio, Holland, Marmouche, Oscar Bob. So yeah, we're stacked there. I just think we need somebody a little further back, so that 8-6 type of profile, just to kind of plug up. Unless you want to push Bernardo there permanently.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'd like somebody with a little more size. I want somebody with a little more physicality there. I love his aggression and his pestiness, but
no. I know. It's just,
yeah,
it's hard.
And
he's
not only scoring goals, assisting, but he's also captaining Argentina in the U20 championship over in South America, and they throttled their arch rival Brazil 6-0. And he scored twice and assisted. He's the captain. Apparently, in the chat, they said he scored again for this one, so he is in fine form. There was talks initially of, is he going to come? Are they going to loan him out since he's younger? if he's performing like that in the U20s, he's coming right in, and he's going to be a part of the first team, and he's going to learn and play with these guys and training and get opportunities with the first team for sure. What's not to like about what he's putting on tape right now, and he's another piece that we just mentioned to that attack. Nice to actually have options going forward.
Get him for Leighton Orient if he's back by then. I don't know. They're tied 1-1 right now, Argentina and Colombia.
Okay.
So it's 1-1. He's got the goal. Who cares about Colombia? Oh, actually, great country though. Everybody should go visit Colombia, but who cares about them today?
No, exactly.
Also, take your people back.
Oh. No. I saw the Twitter beef and I was like, okay, I'm not. I'm like, can I go there?
I mean, I would love to go to Colombia. I've heard it's a great time, and they love
really nice. I went like 2 years ago. Really, really awesome. I was scared to go, but I went with the tour group, and unbelievable country. It's beautiful, incredible food, and very cheap.
Yeah, definitely the food.
That's always a stickler. I love going to Europe, but Europe's not cheap.
No, it's not. It's so funny too because, like, of course, I'm sure you've heard the shtick that we get for being Americans supporting a Premier League club team. Well, and how we've never been there.
Every time I'm on a stream, there's like, oh, what's this dumb American city blonde saying?
Exactly.
Every stream.
Dude, like, do you think that, like, these people really think that, like, Americans are just, like, fucking made of money?
Yeah.
Ain't like that. It's not like that. We
live very modest. Country. Like, I don't think Brits get out that much. I know there's a lot of people don't have a lot of money there. Like, their wages are much lower than ours.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're very, very comparable to the standard lower middle class type livings. You know what I mean? Like, you anywhere from $15 to $30 an hour type kind of thing. To be fair, service people get paid more hourly than we do over here. So
they don't tip, so that's nice. You never have to account
and that's why
when you're eating it out in Europe, you're just like, oh, that's it. You're like,
I don't have to leave that extra money.
Pay.
But let me ask you this. So I know that you probably spent more time. You definitely have probably spent more time in Europe because I've never. When you when you go out to dinner, do you feel that you're paying more for what you're getting over there, being that you're not having to tip, or is it still relatively priced and you're not having to tip?
It honestly depends on what country you're in. And it depends on if you're in a tourist area. Because I spent, I did a really long trip this summer. I spent 3 weeks in Europe, and most of it was in Croatia. And when I was in the capital of Zagreb was dirt cheap. But when I was on the coast, where all the tourists are, so like Split, Hvar, and Dubrovnik, that's tourist central. So I was paying American prices there. Like glasses of wine were €6 to €8, which adjusted is about $6.50 or something, $7. I don't know, $8, something like that. So yeah, it just depends on where you go. United Kingdom is always going to be expensive because the exchange rate is really bad. The nice thing about Europe right now is a euro is very comparable to the dollar. So it's only about a 5% margin right now. And I've gone when it's been like a 30% margin. And so everything just feels ridiculously overpriced, but they've realized all the tourists are there. So Dubrovnik, I was paying a lot for stuff there.
I actually just recently did a conversion, and the American dollar is stronger than the pound sterling right now.
Is it?
The exchange is 1 to 0.83. So 83 pence to $1.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. The first time I went to United Kingdom, it was $1 was 0.55. So everything was almost twice as expensive. That was back in like what, 2000? Oh God, when was it? When was the recession? 2008.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, the last time I went, it was almost like $1 was like 0.9. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, this will never be this cheap again.
Crazy.
The euro right now is 1 to 0.95. Yeah, it's a 5% difference right now. So if you go to the right countries, dirt cheap.
It'll work out in your favor, right?
Yeah, when I was in Dubrovnik, I did a day trip to Bosnia, and I was drinking. I had a beer, and it was only €2. I was like, and it was Croatian beer too. It's funny. I was like, I'm in Bosnia, but I'm drinking the Croatian beer. That was the cheaper beer. The Bosnian beer was more expensive, so I was like, I'll drink the Croatian beer.
Business decision.
Yeah.
Save where you can.
But
Listen,
if you want something good in Croatia, the wine there is incredible.
I've heard a lot of great things about Croatia. I from what I understand, especially on the coast, is it's literally just a mirror of the Italian coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're right across from each other.
Right.
Oh, it's so nice. I bought my Vardial shirt there. Because I was there during the Euros, so I bought the Vardial Croatia shirt. And then when I came home, I bought like 7 others, but I DH gated all of them because I ain't paying full price. I bought all the City players. I have a Diaz Portugal one. I have an Ake Netherlands. I bought the Rodri Spain one. I didn't buy any of the English people though because I don't care. I don't care about England. So what else did I buy? I'm like looking at the map here. I didn't buy a Gundogan shirt. Maybe he wasn't with City at the time, so I didn't do that. But the Vardial one, I don't know. I bought like a bunch of them. Oh, I bought the Akanji Switzerland one. I'm also Swiss, so that's part of it. So got it. I was like, yay! Finally, have a Swiss person that's in
Nice.
Proud to represent. I'm like Swiss and German, like most Americans are. We're all just like European mutts. Most of us are probably English. So somebody says "Go England" and thing, I'm just like, I'm not. I don't care.
I am. I recently did my ancestry, and for the better part of 37 years of my life, there was a point when I was really young where I went up to my mother because I tan really well in the summer, like to the point where people think I'm of different ethnicity. I went up to my mom. I was probably about 6, 7, 8 years old, right in there, and I said, "Hey, Mom, am I Mexican?" Everybody tells me I'm Mexican because how tan I get. No, honey, you're Italian. Oh, okay. So for most of my life, I thought I was just Italian. Nope. I'm British as fuck.
I do the same thing, but I can literally track my family back to Germany. Like my grandmother was born in Germany.
Same.
She was born in Germany, and she came over during a time period we will not discuss. We'll just say that.
A tumultuous one.
Yes.
not a great time.
But it's the worst of times, not the best of times. So, and then I have another family history. One of the Swiss members of the family. I mean, she's been over here for generations. That side of the family is, but she's in her 80s, so her spare time is doing the ancestry thing, and she can trace our family back to a town in Switzerland from the 1600s. So that's so somebody's got the research going. So it was really fun. I actually went to Switzerland last year for the first time, so I was like, I'm in the homeland. And I was only there for like 2 days.
That's literally how far back I went. Like I had a lot of time, and I was just like click, and then I started like really taking like the birth certificates and cross matching them and like making sure it was legit. Because there's a lot of people who go onto that and they'll just be like click. Oh look, I'm related to this person from 8 generations ago, and then find out you're actually not. Like, but anyways, yeah. Yes, I am. Oh. You have your own teeth. and I've never had braces.
No. I did.
And I've never had braces.
I was gonna say, if you went to Manchester, you can just go see that dentist that everybody goes to.
Right?
The one that Klopp with his fake teeth.
Oh my god!
I missed Klopp when he had his cigarette yellow teeth. That was the best version of Klopp. Like Dortmund Klopp with them yellow teeth.
Not chiclet teeth.
Yes. Yes.
Now he's got the Ross Geller teeth. Oh no, nobody remembers that reference. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, I missed that.
But he's got the Ross Geller teeth now.
Ross Geller.
When he tries whitening his teeth. When he tries whitening his teeth and he leaves it in too long and his teeth like turn neon, like glow in the dark.
Oh, I'm there now.
That's an old rap. Ooh, who just scored? Okay, Buffalo just scored. Yes. But Kansas City had scored, so boo.
Eh.
They're still
Is it
trailing.
even Steven, what's going on right now?
Yes, right. Yeah, yep. House captain knows I'm talking about.
See, I said friends.
Yes, you got it. Yes.
Okay.
It's
I have
obscure.
on to you £3 from the market. Steve Black.
I think
Hey,
we
he
had
bought
to
them.
push
He
that
owns
Dennis.
them.
Have
Were
you
they made
noticed?
of wool?
Have you noticed when Mateus Nunes smiles now? He's got his teeth fixed. His teeth
Yeah,
used to be
they're
really
not-
tiny, and now they're big.
Yeah.
Like he had too much gum, and now it's a much more balanced ratio. And I'm like, ooh, that looks a lot. That was money well spent.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Either he got veneers or they pushed his gums back because God bless him. And that.
I know somebody who did something like that too, like a friend
Me
of
too.
mine, gum surgery. So I did get that done. It's not fun.
Dude had braces all through high school, and then it was like they were ground down. I was like, you realize you got to mess with that part, right?
That's what happened to me. I had to get a gum graft down here because like my gums started eroding. Yes.
We're armchair dentists now.
That would be funny if one of us is actually a dentist. I'm not.
I am not either. And Steve, yes, I got you, bro. He said he just commented pivot once, and I was like doing this maneuver, and while y'all were waffling on.
I'm here talking to the waffler. I have to.
Dude,
Captain,
waffler Halloween costumes. Hey.
She is about me doing this waffler thing. I think I might have to take it on. I mean, it's only at this point I put myself out there, so.
Oh, these idiots! They went for 2 points and they missed.
Yeah.
Oh, Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo. So Jeremy Doku, he's going to be out for a while. He won't be ready for the next couple of matches, according to Pep, with no indication of what the ailment is. That's a little scary because he has recently come into some decent form with us. Can we recover somebody like Doku? I mean, do you think the attack will take strain somewhat the same as our defense having him out, especially Jack not getting a lot of play on the wing? What are your thoughts on that, Kelly?
Well, we do have Savio, and Savio has been cooking too. So we can always play Savio. And I thought he looked much better on the left than he has on the right this season. So, I mean, I think we can get that there. But right now, everybody's minutes are under fire because of Marmouche. I think he's going to take a lot of minutes from Doku, from Savio, from Jack. Because, like I said earlier, we paid the big money for him, so he's going to play. And somebody's got to take that spot from him. I'm just sad for Doku because he was good in the Salford game, and we'll just call that for what it was. But the game after, I forget what was it? Was it the Brentford game? I don't know what game it was. But the next game he played, he was really good. That was one of his best games for us because he had finally started getting the timing right with Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that he struggled with. I think, what game was that? He got his first assist to Holland, but whatever game that was. They're all blurring together at this point. But yeah, I'm devastated for the guy. And he's had a lot of injury problems since he's joined us.
Really has.
I hope it doesn't set him back permanently on our team. Because there are, like I said, we have a bunch of new people who are competing for minutes. And he's going to have to be there and ready to perform, not be injured all the time if he wants to stay on this team.
All of that. The one area that we actually have a decent amount of depth now that everybody's coming back is that wing position. So I think we'll be fine as far as covering.
And Oscar
like
Bob.
I mentioned, exactly. So he'll be back shortly. He's been training for a few weeks now. Luke from Nimble had mentioned he was hearing about 2 weeks probably for Doku being out. It's just really unfortunate for all of the players who come back, find a little bit of form, and then immediately are back on the training table for something else hitting them. Because you want to see guys in the side and getting consistent minutes together. We haven't had a normal starting 11 that Pep can pick from the entirety of the season. He hasn't normally. He settles in February, March on who is going to be his go-to starting 11 for big matches and throughout the stretch run. And I don't think he's been able to even come close to that throughout the whole year. So it's unfortunate that guys continue to pick up injuries because it sets them back personally and it sets the club back too. So it's unfortunate because he's been a dynamic piece when he's been right, and it seemed like he was starting to figure it out and light bulb was going on for him. So hopefully it's not a long-term thing. He'll be back soon. And what I mentioned earlier, I think is great for him and for everybody else. When he comes back, there'll be guys pushing each other for minutes, and that's going to make all of them better. Because I think all of the guys on the squad have the right mentality where they're going to see competition and embrace it, and not be guys who are like, oh, I'm not getting minutes, I'm just going to leave. I think most of the guys we have the mentality of, I'm going to fight for my spot, I'm going to earn my minutes, and if I'm not playing, then I trust Pep's decision-making process, and I'm just going to support the guys who are playing and wait for my opportunity and keep forcing my way into the side during training. So I'm hopeful for Doku to get himself right and then embrace the challenge of getting back into the squad, like most of the guys are going to be doing now that we're starting to get a little bit of health in that position.
Think the physios are going to get a bonus this year?
Dude, they've been working overtime like nobody's business. So
no fucking shit. They
They've been
better.
working overtime, but people keep getting injured. So
Listen,
is it a performance-based bonus?
I would think so. Maybe the most players you treated within a season. No, like the other part of it is too, like Pep. The reason why I said that is what I was getting at. Sorry, not the other part of it. Pep has done this before with his own salary, where he's taken money out and given it to the staff, such as like the nutritionists or the chefs, right? I mean, thanks for working overtime, guys. Here's an extra $15K for the year. Would be nice, I think. Just saying.
That's probably not. That's probably close to like their wage for the year. I used to work in restaurants. You don't get paid a lot.
No, you do not.
Facts.
No. I have been so. My mom opened a restaurant. It was a franchise restaurant. I worked for it for 11 years, doing front end stuff. It was a honey baked ham. I'm sure you know what that is.
Oh, a Thanksgiving classic,
right? We owned that for 11 years, and then I moved on, became a server, and then found myself in the kitchen. There is no job I've ever had that I have had to be more slave intense than in a kitchen and get paid absolute shit for it, and then have to deal with all of the repercussion of anything that could possibly go bad. We had I worked at the steakhouse downtown where I live. It was July 2nd, and our kitchen manager didn't make the weekly order, and we got slammed for 4th of July weekend. I had no food to produce, so I had to sell in a top tier steakhouse. I had to serve peas and carrots as a side dish.
Well, the British
not
people
ideal.
like that.
$12 an hour, right? That doesn't do so well over here. That doesn't do so well over here. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. Not especially not where I live. Rural town. No, rural town like mine. Like we have a British pub here, but even they don't serve mushy peas. They'll serve you Branston pickle, but they won't serve you mushy peas.
I don't even think we have a British pub anywhere where I am. Sad.
I wouldn't imagine so. I imagine that. I'm waiting for you to tell us that like there's a really good elk steakhouse out there. I would be there.
No, the surprise thing here is Basque food. There's a couple of Basque restaurants.
Really?
Yeah, there's a really famous one called the JT down in this little tiny town called Gardnerville. No one's heard of Gardnerville, but they have this really nice little Basque restaurant. And actually, my aunt, one of her best friends owns it. So we went there for my birthday one year. It was really awesome. The only time I've been there, but yeah.
Like peas and carrots.
peasy.
I may not be a smart man, but I know what love
But
is.
I know what love is. I heard they're making a second one. Oh my god.
Lord.
If that happens, listen, if Haley Joel Osment doesn't come back, I'm going to be upset.
Is that guy still acting?
He is. He's doesn't look anything like you remember him though.
Oh wait, he was in The Boys. I remember him being in an episode of The Boys.
He's recently jumped back into doing movies again, and he's had taken small roles in these comedy movies, and he somehow or another like makes fun of himself, which is great. Because you can't make fun of yourself, then you don't need to be in that light ever. But it's been pretty funny. Where's the one where he played like a spoiled millionaire? It was hilarious. If I find it, I'll send you the link to that movie for sure. Let's get into the Norwegian midfielder that we picked up that will be shipping out on loan. Severi Naipan. He's actually Naipan, yeah. So he was actually in attendance for the Chelsea match to get a little overview of what the City Football Club or the City Football Group is all about. Social media queens are begging for him to come in now. Do you think that he would be best served in our side as it stands and kind of send him to the fire, if you will? Or do you think the loan to Girona is the best move for him if it does so happen?
I don't think we can loan anybody to Girona right now because of that like Champions League thing. I heard it wasn't until like September of this year. I don't think we have room for him right now because we have Echeverri coming in and like we've listed off like 15 different forwards and midfielders. I don't think we have room. So you would want him to go somewhere to play, ideally on loan. But what if Girona just signed him and it was like a CFG signing and then we just like poached him after a year? You know, like what we do with Savio. Let's do that. Who cares? They're going to talk crap no matter what anyway. Everything they think is cheating. I'm like, let's do it. Who cares?
Everything is cheating.
He's more of an attacking mid from what I was watching and reading up on him today. So for me, we have enough of that position. If he was a holding mid, like a 6 or an 8, somebody that could give and learn from Kovacic and Gundo, I'd be more apt to say, hey, hang here and give us some rotation in that spot. But he's, from everything I saw, he's more of an attacking mid winger type situation. He's not somebody who's going to be playing in that 6 role. So send him out, get him in, because I think he can help us. He's a good player. But find a loan move for him and let him cook a little bit there, and then we will welcome him back to be our 3rd Norwegian on the squad.
Oh my god!
It's
going to have the whole Norwegian national team,
right?
And you know what'll happen? They'll immediately qualify for a tournament.
Exactly.
Get Pep with enough Norwegians, the Euro 2028, I think. I hope they qualify for the World Cup. Because I'm like,
well, they're expanding to 48 fucking teams, so it's going to be a massive World Cup. So if you don't qualify for it, that's a problem, especially because Europe is getting so many spots
next year. Oh my god, I'm so excited because I want to go see some other. I mean, I'll probably get to one USA game. I'm lucky. I have a friend who works for. Who does he work for? American Outlaws. He's like, I'm getting tickets for everybody for a game or access to tickets. I'm like, perfect. But I really want to see Spain because I want to see Rodri. Right. And then I got to see Germany and Switzerland. So that just might be vacation 2026 at World Cup.
Yep.
Maybe go to some baseball stadiums in the between. Something like that.
It's gonna be great to have it on our soil. That's gonna be the coolest thing about that whole experience is it's all gonna be right here, going on in the States. And for Colby and I, who have kids who play, getting that kind of event on our soil for our kids to watch, and not have to stay up until 2:00 in the morning or get up at 4:00 in the morning to watch it, and actually be able to watch it on a regular, on a normal time. That's just going to help the sport.
I gave it at 2:30 in the morning. I was like,
yeah.
I got up at 5 once to watch Germany. So
Yeah,
and then they lost, so that was really disappointing.
right.
I get up at 6 sometimes for work, so it's like, whatever. 5 o'clock's not that different. I get up at 4 o'clock for games here for Man City. So
Exactly. I was just saying,
luckily
like,
it's
this
not
should
that
just
many
be
per year.
norm. It should just be norm for a West Coaster who supports City or any Premier League club. Like,
Commitment.
you live on the early clock.
Yep.
That Leighton Orient game is a 12:15 game. I'm like, oh. Actually, when is that? I might not even be here. I'm going on a trip soon, and I'm going to be gone I'm going to be gone during that disgusting stretch of games. Like, I know I'm going to be gone for Liverpool and Tottenham, and I don't know what else. It's like, I don't know if I'll be around for Leighton Orient. I get back for the Forest game. When is it?
There you go.
Leighton Orient is... Oh, it's on the... I'll be here. Oh, it's right before the Super Bowl. Ugh. Oh,
Yep. Yep.
I'm so mad. I'm going to New York next weekend for a wedding. And originally the Arsenal game was on Saturday. And I was like, perfect. I can go to the NYC Sky Blues, hung out with them over the summer. And then they moved the game to Sunday. And it's right when my flight, it's like right around the time my flight leaves. I was like, because in my head, I'm like, oh, it's the late game. It's the 8:30 kickoff. But I'm like, oh no, I'll be on the East Coast. It'll be 11:30. I was like, my flight's at like 2 something, so I'll just go to the airport really early, and I'll
there
go find
you go.
I'll just hang out at the airport for a while.
There's nothing better than an airport beer.
Facts.
There's nothing better than an airport beer. We did a whole
ranking. Don't tell my credit card.
Yeah, right.
Gotta pay that bill
at $23 a pop.
I know.
Andrew asks, do we follow the progress of Kevin Sullivan at Philly United? He does. I don't.
He's
15? He's 15.
Yeah,
right?
he's 15.
Okay.
He's very highly thought of.
Joining this team for a while. By then we'll clear the players out.
He's very highly thought of with Philadelphia Union. He will likely be featuring more often for them in their first team this year. So he's going to get a lot more run. Before this past season, it was very sparse when he was actually playing for the first team. Most of the time, he was playing in MLS Next for their academy squad in the second division kind of deal. But he is, yeah, he's very, very highly thought of. He's going to be getting a lot more runs. So if those who follow MLS, he'll be featured a little bit more because the Union are going through a little bit of a transition period. They had a lot of older players on their books. They're coming off, so they're shifting more to a youth movement. So he's definitely going to be getting a lot more opportunities. So he'll have a lot of first team. It's MLS. I'm not going to go crazy here, but he'll have a lot more first team minutes under his belt before his transition to City in 3 years when he turns 18. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on, keep tabs on. Very, very talented player, but he's only 15 and a lot can happen in the next 3 years. So ease expectations, but it's exciting to see that he's getting opportunities with their first team and then somebody we could potentially follow from the US side with the mothership. So we'll see what happens.
We need an American to be proud of on this team, like so bad.
Right.
That's why I love the Jedi rumors. I'm like, oh, Jedi on the City would be so fun. But we don't sign left back, so we're just allergic to that position.
No, I'd be
correct.
Andy Robinson on there. Let's stir the pot. I warned Kelly that we're going to be stirring the pot a little bit this evening in our community news. She agreed to it, so we're going to do it. There is a bone that I want to pick as an American and as somebody who lives far enough away that there are certain slanders that shouldn't be thrown my way or anybody's way for that matter. Season ticket, right? Season ticket holder or season ticket holders. I'm gonna tell you something, and it's gonna maybe hurt your feelings. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. People who say they're season ticket holders, that's the stupidest fucking flex I've ever heard of in my fucking life. And here's why. You haven't had season tickets for 5 years. So who are you to stand on some sort of virtue signaling ceremonious ground that you are somehow above anybody else when it comes to things. You're not. That's my take on it. I feel as though, especially for us as Americans, we catch the shit end of the stick being new fans, plastics, all this stuff. Now, of course, we know the people here in the comments don't feel those sentiments. But that's not to say that there aren't people out there that throw stupid shit our way. So, like I said, I want to address the season ticket holder thing. I think it's stupid. I think it's overplayed, and it's a bad flex to have. Have you encountered this type of rhetoric, Kelly, when you've been on the social webs talking about City?
Thankfully, no. And I honestly don't know how I'd react because I see both sides of the story. Like, I understand that they're like upset that all these tourists are coming in and killing the atmosphere and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, that's not our fault. That's the club's fault. The club is chasing extra dollars from tourists. And we might be tourists when we go over there, but that doesn't mean we act like tourists. I know when I went, I was sitting in the tourist section and it was awful. And I had to pay $270 for one ticket, which is probably the cost of like a cheap season ticket for season ticket holders. They don't realize how expensive these tickets are for us.
Right.
And I was trying to sing in
But
this tour.
on the overall,
there was nobody singing. It was dead. I was close to the south stand, so I just kept kind of like trying to mirror them. There was one little kid sitting in front of me, and he and I were like carrying the section. Everyone else was on their phones. It was really sad. We did the podcast.
That sounds familiar. Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Colby?
Yeah.
It was like we look down the street. Oh,
it just isn't. It's not a flex.
I think some of the issue is like we're like the scapegoats for things the club's doing, and we're not perpetuating it, but like we're somehow getting all the stick for it. I'm like, get mad at the club. They're the ones not offering new season tickets. They're the ones raising the prices. We're just fans of this team, and we make a lot of sacrifices in our personal life to watch them. And they don't realize that a flight over to Europe is more than an entire season ticket, plus hotel. Plus a game ticket, like it's a very expensive trip for us.
Plus
and
food, plus
to be like
souvenirs, right? Plus traveling around town, like it's very expensive for us. I mean, for us. This is, I mean, when we're talking about the low end, if you really want to skim by in this whole thing and do the bare minimum, you're talking about $3,500.
Oh yeah, when they say their season tickets $900, I was like, that's it.
Do you okay
for an NFL games where that doesn't even get you one ticket for one game?
No.
Super Bowl's like what 20,000-30,000 minimum. It's ridiculous.
Steelers season tickets, you're on a 30-year wait list. That's the first thing. One ticket for your lot. So the one ticket, the one I get typically, I sit up in the away side in the top tier. That's a $210 regular season ticket.
Damn.
Not 65 quid to go sit in the bottom section.
I love that, but
like
local differences too. I know that their salaries are lower than ours, but also at the same time, there are a lot of poor Americans who can't afford a $200 ticket.
Yeah,
like there's poverty over here too, and
even still, I mean that it's a. At this point, the way the economy is all over the world, we're having to spend extra time saving, where in the past where it might not have been as much of a struggle. But all in the same is that we're having to literally plan our whole lives in a year in advance, sometimes two, and save money just to make one trip, one weekend out of this team. I mean, I don't know. The season ticket, great. I think it's dumb. I think it's a bad play on people whom, I mean, none of us can control where the fuck we're born. I didn't ask to be fucking born in America. I mean, this is really the whole point of it. The whole point of it is just like getting on the internet and doing this, saying I'm a season ticket holder. Well, it holds no weight because there are no season tickets. So like, just stop saying it.
There's no new ones, yeah.
We sought you out. Like it doesn't exist. So fugazi off is what I'm.
It
What I'm
also doesn't mean that you know more about the club. It doesn't also mean you know
exactly.
more about the game. It just means that you're local and you can do it. So it's just anytime you people in general try to flex whatever it is that they have that you don't, it's just not a good look as a person, in my opinion. It makes me not want to spend time around that particular individual or engage with them on social media. I don't know. I'm 38 years old now. I have no time for that bullshit and any extra drama in my life. So if you want to go ahead and say that, cool. That's you. I'm going to keep on scrolling through. I'm not going to engage with you, and I'm moving along about my day. So
Yeah, we should just be talking positive about Man City because clearly, like season ticket holders and I, like we clearly share a bond. Like we both love the club, and that's what we should be talking about. We shouldn't be one upping each other. Like I'm a better fan because I go to games. It's like, no, you're not. I was like, are you willing to get up at 4 a.m. to watch your team? Are you? Will you do it regularly?
would you do it every weekend?
Will you spend $2,000 or $3,000 to go see your team once? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like let's come together. Let's love the team. Let's support our players.
Let's remember what color we all wear.
Why we're connected anyway.
Exactly.
And the
we
folks
all
that
buy
do
from the
that,
same store.
and the folks that do that are typically like single folks who don't have kids that are entirely different.
Oh,
Like,
don't go too far, Joe. You might figure yourself.
no, no, I'm talking about the people over there, not folks here, but that are in different life circumstances. Like, I have 2 children. I have a wife. I'm not taking a solo trip to Manchester for a match. I also have 2 kids who play high level club soccer.
And
All my
that's a
extra
lot of
funds-
money too.
All my extra
You don't
funds
understand that
monthly
costs
go to
money.
that. It's insane over here, folks. Because
Yeah.
I pay, let's see, almost $5,000 for the 2 of them to play club soccer, and that's on our
Wild.
for each combined. So it's 20, so it's like $500-600 a month just for them to play. That's not including travel fees for tournaments and all those kind of things. So it's like it's
so
there's
expensive.
not a lot. It's so expensive, exactly. So
Makes
I
no
don't
sense
have
either.
a lot of
We
extra
don't really
money.
have the academy thing here. I mean, I know it's kind of becoming a thing, but they just don't understand that like the communities here generally like don't have teams. Like the area I live in, we used to have a professional team or like a like a US USL team. No, yeah, USL. We used to have one. They're gone now. It was like a San Jose Earthquakes feeder team, and they're gone. So we have. I literally have no. I couldn't if I wanted to watch a soccer game or football game. I would have to drive like 3 hours to Sacramento to watch a game.
Right.
Which I have done before.
See, here in the DMV, particularly the metropolitan area of the United States, when I say that anywhere between Boston and DC, there's pitches everywhere. There's more than you could possibly imagine. And there are clubs that are within these regions. I mean, Joe's girls play for a satellite club for Liverpool. You know what I mean? And there's tons of those that are over here in the United States, and more are starting to pile in. Not only that, but there are bigger clubs here, especially in the DMV, that are actually getting so big they're absorbing other clubs. Right? So there is the ability that we can have the structure of a community team and for it to build. But because of the way that the MLS is structured and the USL is structured, and the MLS Next program, and then all the levels underneath of it, like our kids are both in the EDP level. There's 2 levels above that before it's like you're just like you might as well be over in Europe, right? The amount of money that goes into doing all that, not only it's the tournaments, right, Joe?
Yes. The
Insane.
tournament people are and all the way up to US soccer are the problem.
They are 150% the problem as to why the sport does not grow quite the way that it does here. There's also the fact that we are, I don't know, like 16 times bigger than the Great Britain island.
Oh, I'm from California. California is like only slightly bigger than, or slightly smaller than the entire United Kingdom, and that's
Exactly.
one state.
Exactly.
Like,
It would,
I think the United States is bigger than continental Europe.
it is.
Primarily. Like it stretches from like Portugal to Turkey. And,
Hold on, what is this? It's near 2 a.m. here. All knows season ticket holder that knows more is tapping out. Thanks. No, we can pick up on that. Appreciate you stopping in tonight, hanging out with us. Super, super cool. Size matter, Brits.
I love the YouTube community, the British YouTube community. They're amazing. Like big shout out to Luke. Luke is fantastic. I love listening to his show. He invites me on a show a lot, so I go on there. He's fantastic. They all are. They're great.
We are anxiously.
I think there's people who are being arrogant about the season tickets. That sounds like Twitter people. I don't see anybody on YouTube being like that.
Yes, 100%.
Oh no, it's 100% that. But usually when we're talking about stuff like that, it's usually the YouTube community because, and I think you can relate to this too. I feel like the YouTube community in the UK is a lot more vast and fluid than it is here in the United States. They use it more so the way that we would use Facebook. You know what I mean? They actually post stuff on there, and it not just be, this is my channel. I'm going to be on here at said time, kind of the way that we do. They actually post and engage stuff, and that's almost like foreign to a lot of us because that's just not the social norm when it comes to social medias. It's typically the big few like X, Facebook, Instagram. What happened? Your face is telling.
Made a run. Buffalo made a run, and I was like, "Ooh, keep going, keep going, keep going." He made a really good run. First down, like 30 or 40 yards. Like,
let's go.
Come on. Only to set up the heartbreak for when the refs give it to Casey.
Anyway, it is inevitable.
Please don't happen this way.
Yeah, I got to make us root for the Eagles.
I mean, no.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fuck no.
I refuse to do that. No matter who gets through on the AFC side, that's who I'm rooting for. I'm a Commanders/Redskins guy.
Oh, rough game.
I will not be rooting for the Eagles in any shape or form.
Well, the Eagles did that to my team 2 years ago. So, not fun. I'm a 49ers fan. I don't know if that was obvious or not, but yeah.
Yes.
No, it was 100% obvious.
Okay, just saying.
100% obvious.
I had my heart broken multiple times by the Eagles and by the Chiefs recently. It's been rough. When I was a kid, we were winning Super Bowls. Like they won a couple before I was born, and then they won, I think, 3 after I was born, something like that. But
I remember the Steve Young years. Oh yeah.
Oh god, my mom.
Those were so much
biggest
fun.
Crush on Joe Montana.
Western PA, man.
Oh,
we breed them.
Joe Montana was
breed them. Dan Marino,
Chile,
Jomo, Steve Young.
Yeah, it's been a disaster ever since Steve Young. Unfortunately, we used to be 5-0 in the Super Bowl. Now we're 5-3. I'm like, we've been trying. We used to be the kings of the Super Bowl. We used to have the most, and then Tom Brady went and ripped our hearts out. Took it away.
Nope.
He's got 7. And it makes it even worse because he grew up a 49er fan.
We did it to you before they did.
Oh yeah.
Steelers.
Yeah, we used to be 5-0. We used to hold it. We used to both be 5.
We were the ties.
And then Arizona Cardinals. Yeah.
With the boys. Dude, I lived in Phoenix during that game.
Oh.
I've never seen so many bandwagon fans in my life.
That just reminded me of a really funny story from that Super Bowl. I was with my ex, and they're all 49er fans. So we were watching with his brother, and his brother got so mad that the Steelers won the Super Bowl that he punched a hole into a wall. I'm like, bro, this ain't even the 49ers. Like, what are you doing? I haven't thought of that.
Not that serious.
It's so funny.
It's not that serious.
I just remember the mom walked in the room and was like, she's like, what's that? I'm going to be like, Pancho, what'd you do? Tell mom. Ooh. And then they speak Spanish, and I didn't speak Spanish, so it sounded very natural to say that. To say that.
Oh, pie. There, a couple. Well, I used to work construction, and a couple of the guys used to call me Poncho. So that's funny you brought
Pancho.
that up.
His name was Felipe, but it was Pancho as his nickname. I'm like, okay. I don't know where that came from, but whatever.
Let's stir the pot again because I got another
Oh,
thing.
stirred.
We got another thing to talk about. We kind of we kind of touched on it earlier when we were talking about the Chelsea match. Now we're really going to get into it. Scapegoating players, something that is too often happens, and for as long as I've been watching the game, I pay very close attention to shit like this because I'm kind of a nitpicky person. I'm not going to lie. I see a lot of y'all scapegoating players for no fucking reason at all, other than just to do it sometimes. Now, this year's player happens to be Mateus Nunes. Let's talk a little bit
I
about.
thought you were going to say someone else.
Let's talk a little bit about Mateus Nunes. Mateus Nunes has not been the problem.
No.
If anything, he's been the solution to a problem. And putting any type of hate or negative narrative on him, it literally makes no sense, and it shows what little you have as far as perspective on the game as a whole. Blaming one player for what? Not playing where he was signed up to be when we brought him in. Blame a player for what? Being put in a position that he doesn't know how to play, but actually has been fairly decent at and has gotten better every game he's been in at that position. I got to understand the reason. Because to me, it looks a certain way. I'm not going to call a spade, but I should.
Might as well. I think a lot of it, for the... I think a lot of people are just upset with the transfer fee that he cost, and a lot of people call him a panic buy because I wouldn't call him a panic buy, but let's admit he was really far down the list. Like we didn't get Bellingham, we didn't get Rice, we didn't get Paquetá, and then we get Nunes, and then he just never played. And when he did, he looked lost because he never played, so he didn't get that form. And I think that just set everybody off on the wrong foot. But I totally agree with you. I don't think he's the problem this season. I don't know if I'd call him the solution, but I definitely don't think he's been a problem. We've had so many issues, and I don't think it's at all because of him. The issue has been the midfield and the back line. Some of that's been injuries. Some of that's been other people. One of who's no longer with our team. Who I thought you were going to say Walker is a scapegoat. And
no.
I've been guilty in scapegoating Walker because I would just notice every time he came on the pitch, we seemed to give up a goal. And
but that's a fair assessment.
Defense from him, but
that's 100% a fair assessment, though.
Oh my god!
I think touchdown bills are just all.
I don't know if they're going to count that though. They'll probably say his knee was down first. I don't know, but showing the Bills watch party. I do pay for this.
Right.
This is a legal fee.
No, and I'm glad to see it that way, and I know that Joe sees it that way. I'm actually really glad that the comments are seeing it that way too. Like it's 100%.
That has to be a touchdown. The knee was not down until after the ball touched the plane. Yeah, it crossed the plane and then his knee went down.
She's really into that game. Let's go.
Love it.
I don't even like either team. I just don't like KC.
49ers.
Go Niners! Should wear that shirt today. I was feeling the Chinese New Year shirt today.
I was going to wear my Steelers sweatshirt, so and Joe was going to wear something off. Oh, he was going to wear his Kobe shirt. That's where his Kobe jersey, because today is the 5th year anniversary of his passing. Sad stuff right there. But yeah, scapegoating.
The folks who bang on Nunes are folks who have neither played nor coached the sport, or really probably played team sports in general. Having to change positions at a professional level like this is not easy, especially when you've been playing one way in the same position for a long period of time. The movements, the way you move on the pitch, the way you read the flight of the ball, all different when you're playing in different positions. That is not easy to do when you have muscle memory as a midfielder and now you're playing as a right back. That is extremely difficult to pick up how you move your body, turning your hips a certain kind of way, learning how to run and turn and track back and run in a certain direction as a right back on a different part of the pitch is completely different from what you're doing as a center mid or a winger. It's very, very different. So anybody who harps on and bangs on a player, specifically Nunez in this situation, has no concept of what it takes to be a professional athlete, because it is not. They're not robots. This isn't a video game that you're watching or playing. It takes repetition and training to be able to do these things. It's not simple. It is not easy. It's fair to critique somebody. It is not okay to totally blame someone and throw them under the bus. And
Right.
the comparison between Nunez and Walker, Nunez has not earned the criticism that he's receiving because it's just straight hate. Walker this season 100% has earned it because his play has not been up to his usual high standard. He set the bar as to what his standard is. He has not come close to that this season. So it's fair, in my opinion, to criticize and critique his play, because if he's being honest with himself, he would say the same thing. I've been shit and I'm not doing well, and it's time to go do something different someplace else and hopefully regain the form for himself. But to just throw folks under the bus and players under the bus that you're supposed to support because they're wearing your badge and your club's badge is brainless. And it shows that you don't really understand the game.
Also, I feel like there's a lot of you who get on here when you're on the piss and just say whatever the fuck comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. Get the fuck off the internet. It's not
Put the phone
time
down.
and place.
Don't press send.
Yeah, just don't. You can write
Listen
it.
to Herman's
You can
voice.
write it. Just don't press the send button. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Get out your system and then
Right.
move along.
I think some people are waiting till the next day to stream about the game, and I'm like, that's a really good idea, honestly, because then you can compose your thoughts a little, you can chill.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Let your emotions settle a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is, I have made this reference 100 times, Steve, and to everybody in here. There are a lot of people in this fan base that want Ruth Chris quality at McDonald's pace. It don't work like that. It just don't work like that. And then the last thing I want to stir up to, parroting the media.
Oh, yesterday,
Parrot-
disgusting.
Parroting
cannot
the
believe
media
that
does
headline
not
from
mean
the
you know
Telegraph.
football.
I mean, granted, it just was the headline, but the way they were getting on Husanov, I'm like, dude, it's his first game. Chill out.
Yeah.
And speaking of recovering, he recovered very nicely to the point of where I got mad when he got subbed off.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of people who were like, damn, I wish I'd have seen him stay on just a little bit longer. I understand why Pep did it, but all in the same, like, I would have liked to see him work through that a little bit more. Homeboy was on the verge of fucking tears. I think everybody saw that. That's a hell of a position to be put in. You just went from the French league being Uzbek to the Premier League, the top team in the Premier League. Every kid that's playing right now wants to play for. He's getting his shot and he's getting put in straight away
Against Chelsea, it was a great side with quality players.
This wasn't us going up against Leicester or Ipswich or whatever. This is a quality side you went up against. And how memorable would that be? And it's going to be a memory for him forever. I mean, I was telling somebody about it the other day or yesterday. I remember when I first moved down here from Pittsburgh to Virginia, I got picked for the basketball team, and I had never played with any of these guys before in my life. Most of them didn't like me because I was a city boy. I remember my first game, I made probably the biggest fuck up of my life. It felt very much like the Kusanov ordeal. And when I saw it happen to him, I was just like, I know how you feel, man. Like, I just wanted to give him a big hug.
Yeah. Also,
the lack of compassion that I feel like some people have is it's ridiculous. Like there's no empathy
Yeah, the
in
media.
anybody
I know
anymore.
the media hates City, but I'm like, go
Right.
after somebody more established. Like they're just ruining his maybe it's a good thing he doesn't speak English right now, so he's not seeing this, you know?
Right.
Maybe that helps
Lord
us out in one
knows.
situation. Hopefully nobody
Right.
translates it for him.
Well, credit
Hopefully he
to
didn't get
the
I was gonna say hopefully he
credit
didn't get those translator headphones, right?
right that
Mm.
do it
That would
for
be
you.
a detriment.
That would be good.
No.
But
That's why they
credit
brought
to
Timmy back, or Ferna back, because he speaks Russian.
he
Right.
does. Credit to the side though, the boys on the pitch, the guys on the sideline, everybody in the stands at the time were giving him a lot of positive reinforcement and not and kind of like surrounding him and insulating him against all the noise and trying to pick his head up and making sure that he knew, but they still need him and were trying to help him through a tough moment. Ederson immediately went over there, didn't give him any
Mhm.
shtick. He was trying to help him. Kanji was helping him out more, and you could see them all kind of protecting him a little bit more after that because I knew that his confidence was a little shaken. They were trying to give him, the ball
In
where
his
he wasn't going to be
face,
pressed too hard. Yeah, into space. Bernie was tracking back a little bit more than usual to give him a little bit extra support. So the you have to love the camaraderie on this squad that we consistently see, that we've all been so blessed to be able to see more behind the scenes than most clubs because of all the documentaries that they've done about the side. We get to see into the side, the locker room, way more than most clubs do. And most teams in America, we probably get to see, aside from Hard Knocks early, isn't a whole lot of behind the scenes documentaries going on about clubs. And we have seemed to get one almost every year. And we get to see how these guys are behind the scenes more often and seeing the relationships that they have formed often on the pitch is awesome. And seeing them pick up a young guy who just made a really, poor error and knowing that he needs that love and support. And they all did that. That was absolutely brilliant in class. Exactly. The fans gave him a round of applause and a show of support when he came off. That had to have felt good for him. And whether he doesn't appear to be somebody who's going to show a lot of emotions, which is fine. I kind of like that.
Oh, Russians.
But you had to know inside he was feeling really good about the way he was supported by the players, by the manager, and by the fans in the stadium on Saturday after the fact.
Yeah, that moment for me is where Bernardo felt like a captain because
Yes.
he pushed back and they just said, look, him and Akanji just like didn't let him touch the ball for a few minutes. And I think that settled him down because he wasn't under the pressure to because he would have tried to fix his mistake and he would have overcompensated and that might have led to another mistake. And then it's just this downward spiral where he could have gotten sent off. He could have gotten yanked. And I think the fact that Pep left him in at halftime too showed faith. And Pep's comments after the game were really nice too. And he said literally the only reason he came off was because of the yellow card. But so I wonder if he didn't get that yellow. I wonder if it would have been if Stones would have subbed on for Akanji instead of Husinov.
That's
to get some minutes for Wednesday.
And then Akanji could have gotten a few minutes rest. So
that probably would have been the original plan.
Factor, which is unfortunate, but hopefully
100%.
he learned. The only scary thing is I've watched the clips of him and the YouTube comps, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get booked a lot in the Premier League if you do that. So
right.
that's the only scary thing. It's like, ew. So hopefully he can get it under control. And yeah, hopefully that's just his jitter moment and he got it out of his system and
got out of the way early.
Move on from it. And I think how we finished the game shows that's probably more of the player we're gonna get. So
exactly.
That was really positive to see. And overcoming adversity is tough, even if it's self-inflicted. It's still very tough to overcome, and I think everyone is proud of him.
I think it really helps the fan base get more on a personal level with him. In doing this, we literally watch somebody have butterflies on the field, like full on, just sick in the stomach, probably could have puked all over the pitch. Like that, if you can't grow with this kid after that moment, you probably should look for another team or just stop watching. That was, I don't know. The human experience for me is a beautiful thing, and to see something like that, somebody be able to turn themselves around in the moment of their life at that point. I just thought it was beautiful. The team coming out, like you guys said, team supporting him, fan base behind it. I don't know if there was a more beautiful moment in football for me at this point.
And the fact that he did get to come off to a standing ovation, I'm sure that'll help his confidence a lot too.
Sure.
So that was smart from Pep.
Absolutely.
That was
Yes.
really smart. And
For sure.
that's what makes Pep just such a great manager. Those little things that we don't think about.
Exactly.
Yeah, because in the moment I was mad about it, and then I reflected on it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Pep knows what he's doing."
We're not being paid to make those decisions.
No,
Right.
you get a third down.
Where are we at now? Where's the game?
It is 22-21 it's the end of the third quarter, so
All right.
we're not out of the woods yet.
Well, let's
Buffalo.
break into the last part of this session, our bro out session. This is the first time we're going to be broing out with a chick, but she's
All my
one of
friends,
us. Exactly.
all my friends
She's
say I'm one of
us.
the guys anyway, so there you go.
Exactly. Well, we're going to put that to the test right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sitting here commenting on an American football game.
Right.
How many women
While
do you
we're
know?
talking about.
Well, we're talking about regular footy. I've been watching American footy most of my life, or all my life, and regular.
Yeah,
I've only got into
exactly.
footy about almost 20 years ago. I don't know. The 2006 World Cup was the first game the USA-Italy game. That was the first game I ever watched. Like, period. Like that, I had never seen a game of footy except for my cousin playing AYSO
Right.
There you
back
go.
in the day, back in the 90s. But
So tell us a little bit about your come up into being a City fan. You said it started about 20 years ago. Aside from having seen that World Cup, what sparked your interest into the game in whole?
well, it was that World Cup game. I just got
Yeah.
really into American players, and I started following them around. And so, and that's when Tim Howard was at United, and I knew right away that was a bad idea. So, ended that pursuit. But City had Americans on their team. They had Claudio Reyna on their team, and
DeMarcus
then
Beasley, too, I
DeMarcus
think.
Beasley joined, and then
Yep.
Claudio Reyna left. So that was like my first exposure. I was also really hard on the Clint Dempsey at Fulham bandwagon, but my favorite color is sky blue, so that kind of is why I picked City. But then I just kind of like didn't follow it for a really long time. I was like, I picked a team, and then I just never watched until God, when did I pick it back up? I was watching all the USA games, like anytime a friendly, whatever. Like I was all about the USA games. And I didn't get back into the club stuff until I think like 2013-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I had just broken up with my boyfriend we'd been into soccer together. He was a Liverpool fan. Maybe that was part of it.
That's
I was on my own, and I just started watching games randomly. And I was like, oh, right, I forgot about this. And then, I just got really back into it. And it still took me a little while, but I did that kind of was the catalyst, was breaking up with the ex and rediscovering stuff. And then I had a job, and I was working with a guy who was a Dortmund fan, and I was really into him. So I kind of picked up Dortmund because Also,
That's where the
Americans at the
BVD
time,
comes
too.
from. Now I get it.
It was all because of the boys. I was in love with this Spanish team that their generational team, the one that won the World Cup. I was in love with them. And that team was just beautiful. I love that team so much. Sadly, the USA weren't very good. Do I follow the women's team? I do, but I'm not super hardcore into it. I have a really good group of friends who are into USA games, and we all lived in the Bay Area, and so we'd go to a lot of games then. But I mean, I'll watch the World Cup, that kind of stuff. I don't get too into it.
Right.
I should, but honestly, I don't like watching
I do.
it. They're kind of boring. I just think they're so slow. You watch the men and then you watch the women, and I'm just like, oh, this looks like it's in slow motion. I know it's really bad of me to say because I'm a woman, but
Especially when we're at women's sports and it trying to grow. Yeah, like that didn't help anything.
I do like this new crop of women, though. I love this new crop of women. I actually started watching a couple of Man City women's games last season because they were on Paramount Plus, but now
Yeah.
they've moved to ESPN Plus, and I don't pay for that, so I don't watch anything on there, unfortunately. It's
Feel
just
ya.
it's too expensive. It's too many streaming services. It's a pain in the butt. I'm sure you guys can
I
relate.
can't. Yes and no. Okay, so our whole big thing, and I'm sure you can attest to this growing up in the United States and being relative to the age that we are. Growing up, Premier League was literally reduced to the early match on USA, and you were lucky to maybe get the afternoon match, right? Not really a whole lot of viewing ability aside from our own national team, whom were spotty,
Yeah, the men are
and
not very
have been
good.
spotty. Where was I going with that?
It was hard to watch in the 90s, that's for sure. I didn't even have cable back in the 90s, so
it wasn't
barely
even the
watched
fact that
it
it
at
was
all.
hard to watch in the 90s. It was just it was hard to even try to find a place to watch it at all. I mean, it was, again, like I said, we were reduced to USA on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and you were lucky to get that early game. And let's be honest, as teenagers, none of us were fucking getting up at,
No.
especially for you, that would have been like 3 a.m. Not getting
Definitely
up
not.
for that.
Back when I could sleep in, when my
Right.
body had the ability to sleep in.
But with the emergence of all of these different providers,
Trinity
be
is.
it ESPN Plus, Peacock, Paramount Plus for Champions League, now we have this accessibility, more accessibility than our English counterparts do. It's really made the game it's helped the game blossom a lot more, but we still kind of know it as more or less a fringe game. It's not really a part of American culture. Tell us some things that you've noticed from your side of the country and where you've grown up, what the soccer community is really like, especially on the West Coast, knowing what it's like here on the East Coast.
I think it's pretty strong on the West Coast because the West Coast has a very large Hispanic population, and they're just really into it. Like they're the ones doing the the pickup soccer games or whatever. Or I guess you'd call it like a Sunday league type thing. Like I used to live near an elementary school, and it was on a main road, so you drive by it a lot, and there'd always be somebody playing. It's just like just regular professionals just doing it for fun. It didn't really translate into like teams. I grew up, there was an MLS team. They formed it, I think, in the 90s. And I started going to games in like the late 2010s. Yeah, sometime in that decade. The San Jose Earthquakes was a local team.
Right, I remember them, yeah.
Yeah.
They were part of the originals.
Yeah, well, they had a franchise, and then they won 2 MLS Cups, and then that franchise just like got up and moved to Houston and became the Houston Dynamo. And then the San Jose Earthquakes reformed. And for some odd reason, they still wear the 2 stars on their shirt, even though it's like not the same team. But then Houston also claims 2. So like 2 MLS Cups. I'm like, that's weird. But actually, when that first game I ever watched, the USA-Italy game, the only person I recognized was Landon Donovan because he was on the San Jose Earthquakes. And I wasn't like watching games, but I would listen to sports radio and they'd talk about him all the time. And so I was like watching the game and I'm like, oh, that's who they're talking about. And then it never dawned on me that I could have just driven down the road and go and watch him play. But yeah, it just takes a while because in America, we all grew up on American football. Like that's the sport here. It's dominating, but I think at some point it'll change. You definitely see a lot of like footy fans in California, at least. I'm in the state of Nevada right now, and I see people are not sports here at all. If it's sports, it's the NFL. I see every Raiders shirt. If I see a footy shirt, it's usually from the Mexican League or a Mexico national team. Because like I said, there's a lot of Hispanics, and they all love Mexico.
Yeah, so. Liga MX is definitely
or just like the Mexico like shirts, like for the Mexican national team.
Right.
But we used to have a team, like I said, that San Jose Earthquakes feeder team, and then they ditched. And I was like, damn it, can I come back? If they were here, I'd buy season tickets for them. I don't know how often I'd go, but I would definitely buy tickets and go to games. All we have is a minor league baseball team and a college football team, college American football team. I should clarify that to the British people. Curiously, we have some minor league hockey, which is kind of fun.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We have some minor league hockey teams.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're in that range of the Northwest. I like that sport's starting to get big or bigger. It's always going to be on the lower tiers of ranking in American sports, in my opinion. I mean, for me, it's always going to be like, well, it's changed a little bit since we've been kids. Back in the day, it was NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL. Now it's more NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, kind of in the same bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those last two sports, I feel, are like almost legacy. You see a lot of people whom aren't really getting into the game brand new, rather than they've had their father, grandfather, whoever was a massive fan of said team or said sport ever since, and it just kind of gets passed down, where it's not really being pushed out. Where I feel footy is now being pushed into, like me and Joe, our kids. That's honestly, from our purview, the biggest sport right now, because they're getting to see the likes of Erling Haaland and Mo Salah and all of these big players. And especially with the World Cup had just happened shortly thereafter COVID, it's been a little bit more accessible than it has been in the past. What do you think it would take for the game to grow here in a more significant fashion and be a more level playing field with the rest of the world?
I think if we had an American player on a big team who was actually good,
Right.
I think that would grow it tremendously. Like, I know we had the closest we had was Pulisic on Chelsea, but unfortunately he wasn't good on Chelsea.
No.
He didn't start a lot of games. I know he won the Champions League. Ugh, don't remind me, but don't remind both of us, or three of us. But he wasn't like a superstar. Like if we had an Erling Haaland, that would, like an American Erling Haaland, I think that would really start to move some eyes onto the sport. But I do think it is growing quite a bit, because over the summer, I went to one of the preseason games. I went to the game in New York, and I was shocked how many people were there. And City sent their media team and everything. Like they brought the trophies to the pub beforehand, and like they even rode the subway with us to the game. I got to meet Georgia, the one who does all the little City clips on YouTube and Instagram. Yep. She was super nice, and you just watch the game on TV and you'd see all the people in the crowds, and it was insane. Like even 2 years ago when they went to, what was it, Houston and Green Bay?
Mm-hmm.
The Green Bay game was against Bayern Munich, and it was all City fans. I was like, Bayern are a way bigger club, and on TV it looked like it was all City fans. I do think there is, like, I think it's coming. Like there's a lot of supporters clubs too. Like almost every major city has one.
City has one. Yep.
And then the smaller tier team, there's smaller tier cities like have them. Not where I live, unfortunately. I would try to start one, but I don't live in that city, and
but you
really
see,
difficult for me to try to do that.
You see these second and third tier markets now starting to get them, like Kansas City, Cincinnati, Eau Claire, Michigan. You know what I mean? Exactly. These smaller markets are starting to emerge. And I think that is in part because some of these OSCs are starting to get a little too full, especially the bigger city ones. I mean, New York in and of itself, I mean, I think they have two or three. Huge. Right. I think they have 2 or 3 different OSCs just in the New York City area. Then you talk about ones in Jersey, one in Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when those smaller markets that are outside of it, they don't have the accessibility of getting down to the city as much. Like for me and Joe, we both live respectively, Joe 40, me an hour and 20 are outside of DC. It's not exactly an accessible thing, but if I were to, and I probably could, start a Citizens fan club here where I live in Winchester, which is a small little valley town in the top of Virginia, and then for him, it would probably be something more like Laurel or Annapolis or something like that.
Probably Annapolis or Baltimore, South Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised Baltimore doesn't have one.
Well, they used to, right? They used to, but then they kind of like all came to the Cap City Blues and pushed them together. There is a very, very small one in Northern Virginia, in Ashburn, actually. You know the area. Ashburn, if for people who don't know, is like there's a lot of money there. It's the county they're in is the richest county in America. So, but their demographic is so small and it's very hoity-toity. You know what I mean? So it's a little stuffy.
Damn it!
But nonetheless, there are these OSCs that are popping up everywhere across the United States. It's awesome to see. I do appreciate seeing that.
I know what you mean about trying to get to them too. Because when I was still living in the Bay Area, like there was one in San Francisco, but I lived in a suburb, and just getting to San Francisco, because one, you don't really want to drive there because there's nowhere to park, and also your car's broken into. That is a fact.
Right.
That is definitely a fact.
I've been to SFO.
Train, then you gotta walk or you gotta take an Uber, and it's just hard to do unless it's a 9:30 kickoff. So West Coast is just difficult. But I know there's a Hollywood one, there's one in LA. Yep. I went to the San Diego one last year. I was flying in, and I was there. I got there the second half. I literally just took an Uber from the airport to the supporters club. So if I'm in a city, I try to drop in and watch a game at certain ones. I've done that. I did that in San Diego. What did I do? Oh, I did it. I actually did it in Minneapolis. It was before I met the Twin Citizens. So so when I met him in New York, I was like, I remember you from Minnesota. I was like, I remember your hair. He's got that like, scruffy hair.
Right. He's got that rocker hair.
It was the Crystal Palace game where Holland scored the hat trick.
Yeah.
That we went down 2-0 and then we won 4-2 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was in Minneapolis. I was going to a baseball game, and I remember going to that. And I wish I had known them at the time, because then I could have just hung out with them the whole time. So just sitting there awkwardly with a friend of mine who had no interest in the game.
Funny you met them there. I actually met Chris and Liz for the first time, now that I think about it. Actually in the corridors of Lambeau Field when we got shoved inside during the Lightning. We all sat in the city section, right? And once those lightning storms happened, we all were forced into the corridors. We were right there by our tunnel to go out to our seats. And we started, chants were going around Lambeau Field. It was the coolest thing. And they were actually right there. And I remember it because I was hammered. And right.
I kind of got right there. Drunk at a sports game? That's Americana for you.
Right. They were in the center of the circle, and their kid was the one that was like getting a chance to go. And funny enough, their child looks remarkably like another podcaster in the American City community's son. And I looked at him and was like, all right, if he's here, then that means Mulv's here. And I looked at him, I was like, hey, whose kid is that? That's Mulv's kid? And he's like, no, that's my kid. I was like, well, now I feel like a dumbass. Stupid little stories. Anyways,
aren't they like in college or something? I don't know.
So Mulv's kid actually plays for FC Dallas.
Oh,
which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, free tickets. No.
Right. Well, we've been waffling for a while now. We're at 2:18. Comments. Do you have any questions for Kelly or us or about what's going on in the citydom?
Someone brought up a really good point about Noah Gallagher, and it's true. He went and watched he did watch the Champions League final at San Diego. I remember the girl. She called in from America. She called in to talk sport when he was on there, and I remember him. He's like, "Oh, how many people come to games normally?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, like 7 of us." And he was just like, "What?" But he ended up going there. There was a clip of him walking in the bar. But that place, that was actually a really cool spot. I think it was more of like a mixed bar because there was like some Bayern Munich. There was a bunch of Arsenal people there. It was weird. I actually went to an Arsenal watch along when I was in Seattle last year. I was reuniting with a friend from high school I hadn't seen in 20 years. And I was like, I'm in Seattle. I have nothing to do. I flew in. It was a 9:30 game. It was that Villa game where they won 2-0. And I had to just sit there and just be like, sipping my drink. I don't give a crap about this game. But I made friends with Arsenal fans, and they were buying me drinks, so it worked.
That's wild.
There you go.
Even though I told them I was a City fan. Okay, I got one drink bought for me. But it was kind of an expensive one, so.
Okay, so have you heard about this? It's like an immersive place that you can. It's like I don't know how to explain it without sounding halfway stupid. It it's like going to an IMAX for sports, and they have one out
I
there
know
in
what you're talking about.
California, and it's United based, which is bullshit, by the way. So you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I do a weekly show with Mo, a footy judge Mo,
Right.
and one of his panelists, her name's Jess, and I follow her on Instagram, and she lives in LA. She's okay. Nothing happened to her for the fires, thankfully. And she just went to one of those. She went to that immersive thing because she was posting a picture because and she's an Arsenal fan, so it was for an Arsenal game. And she posted a picture, and I was like, "You did not just go to London for this game."
Right.
So I was like, "You were on the show on Thursday." And then I noticed, and then I saw like the floor, and I was like, "Oh, that's like an arena. It's like an IMAX." It looked really
Exactly.
cool. I was like, dude, can they bring that to where I live? We have an IMAX up the road.
I want to contact this company and be like, listen, are you franchising? Because like that would work so well everywhere. And not just for this game, for all games. Like you feel like you're actually there in the stadium in a part of what's going on,
Genius.
but then you're still comfortable and it's absolutely fucking genius. It's like putting a golf simulator in your house. Kind of.
That'd be cool.
That would-
Yeah, it looks really neat. I can only imagine what the audio is like too. Like, is it like when you have those
Full
crazy
surround
movie
sound
seats
and
where it
shit.
like moves and rumbles and stuff?
Exactly.
I was like, oh, that'd be so cool.
It's like you're at Universal Studios and you ride the Terminator ride, and then all of a sudden it like squirts you in the face, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
4D.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about, I guess.
I know exactly what you're talking
I've never
about.
seen
4D.
Dude, I think I was like 12, maybe 13 when I rode that ride. It had just come out at Universal Studios in Orlando, and you sit in a theater, right? It's kind of the same thing where it's immersive, right? Where they put the 3D glasses on you, and there's this one part where the T-1000 skull pops out at you, and then it bursts, and water hits you in the face.
Oh, we had something like that in Great America.
Right.
Yeah, we had something like that.
That was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. But I think it would be kind of like that. Obviously, not with the 3D shit and whatever. But
I don't like those ones at Universal where you just sit in the seat and then everything's on the screen. For some reason, that makes me super nauseous. And it's not the seat that like the movement doesn't make me nauseous. I can't handle the visual aspect of it because I was literally like I thought I was going to throw up. And I'm just sitting in a chair and it's just like kind of rumbling. It's just I call it visual vomit because it's just like 3D.
It's almost like vertigo.
Yeah. So I just closed my eyes and it went away. And the seat kept moving and I was fine. I had no issues whatsoever. But I remember doing that at Universal Studios. It was the Harry Potter ride. And I remember, it was like, because there's like some scene where you're like flying on a broom or something. And I could not handle that. And then every other ride the rest of the day was like that. I was like, oh my God, screw this. I just sit there with my eyes closed and because I didn't want to let my friend down. We were there for like Halloween Fright Night and she kept wanting to go to the haunted houses. And I'd never seen any of the shows. So I was just like, I don't know what I'm in here for. It was like American Horror Story and what was the other one? What's the one? The zombies. What's the zombie show?
Oh, Walking Dead.
That one. Yeah. And I'm just like,
yeah. Jorge has a little question for you.
Okay, what memory? Okay, I have a really random answer for this. I really liked when we won the league at Brighton. What was it? In I think it was 18-19 when Laporte scored the goal and that put us ahead. That's always been one of my favorite. It was before he did the weird arm thing.
Arm dance thing, yeah.
Yeah, the weird arm dance thing. But
like a rave
I loved
dance.
his shirt that season. That navy blue with the little little neon green coming down. I loved that shirt. And I remember why I liked that so much because City won the league, and then right afterwards was it was so it must have been 2019 because there was a Women's World Cup that year, and they were doing a send-off series at the American Football Stadium down the road from me. So it was where the 49ers play. And we were going to a game and I made a flag cake for it. And my friends were driving from San Francisco to pick me up because I lived halfway in between San Francisco and the stadium down in San Jose. And they're all like, we're here. And I'm like, oh, there's still 5 minutes left in this game, and City are about to win the title. I need to watch this. So I made them sit. They didn't want to come up, and I just made them sit in the car while I sat there and waited for the clock to tick down, and we won the game. I think we ended up winning 5-1 or something. But that's always just been a really special memory for me. And then, but nothing will top me going to a game. I was lucky enough. I went to the game during the Champions League season when we won the treble. I was at the 7-0 Leipzig game.
Oh, okay.
I remember going into that game just thinking it'd be fun if Erling Haaland scored a goal. I would love to see that. I did not know what I was getting in. I was like, oh, 5 goals later. But my favorite moment actually was when De Bruyne scored because De Bruyne's my favorite player. So it was really awesome to see that. And then I love that. And then obviously winning the Champions League. That was really special. I had a really, really rough run into that. I used to have 2 cats, and the Wednesday before the Champions League final, I had to put one of them down. He was really sick, and he had to cross the Rainbow Bridge. So I had spent 2 weeks crying until that because he was super sick and it was really awful. We just had a really hard time getting a vet appointment. So I woke up for the Champions League final. I was like, I have to watch this at the San Francisco City bar. I was like, I have to do this. And I was going to go to a baseball game later that day because the Giants were playing. They were playing at 4:00 in the afternoon. It was one of those random Saturdays where, because usually Saturday games are 1:30 in the whatever. Or I guess for you it's 4:30. But for us having a 4:30 game, it's usually 1:30, 4:30, or 7. So we had this random 4:15, 4:30 game. So I told my friend, I was like, oh, I got to watch this game at 12. And I was like, do you want to go? And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just meet you at the game. And so I got up at 5 a.m. I drove 4 hours to the Bay Area, dropped my car off, spent another 45 minutes to an hour getting to the pub. And then I got there and I was so emotional because I sad about the cat. And then I was so nervous for the game. And that game just, that moment, just being in that bar surrounded by City fans. I convinced one of my USA buddies, who's actually a Liverpool fan, but he's super chill. I tried to convince the rest of them. I tried to convince the Spurs people to come. And they're like, no, we're going to go to the regular USA bar. I was like, come to the City bar. Come on. I was like, guys, I just drove 4 hours, blah, blah, blah. And, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And so once the mimosa started flowing, just like, ooh.
Right? That always happens.
And when Rodri scored, oh my God. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, at least we scored a goal in this one. Because I remember I'd gone to San Francisco I went to the USA bar for the Chelsea game, the Chelsea Champions League final. And I convinced some of my friends to come to that. That was just very disappointing. That was a mixed bar. Nobody really cared. I had a City shirt on. There's a couple Chelsea people, and that was also during COVID. So it was we were all kind of reemerging into the world. So that was just a mess, but
right.
Oh God. But when City won the Champions League, I literally just crawled. I'd been practically standing on the table in the chair. And I just had to slide underneath the bar stool table, and I just sat there, and I just sat there, and I was dry crying. My face was doing the motion of crying, but there was just no tears coming out. I just didn't have any in me because of the week I'd had with the cat, and so And then
that sucks.
I show up to the baseball game with my friend, and she's like, "Oh, Special Kelly's here." I was like, "Yep." And I had my Giants jersey on, but I didn't button it up. I had my City shirt and scarf, and I remember a couple of people literally hey, congratulations. And I was like, yes, people know. So good.
People aren't ignorant.
We almost got no hit. It was a disaster of a baseball game. But what an experience that was. Winning that Champions League, just insane. And I felt like I was part of it because I saw one of the games.
Right. George wants to also know if you've had a Sonoran dog before. That's a Tucson special.
No.
I
only went to Phoenix, not Tucson.
So, do you know what a Sonoran dog is?
No.
I will explain it to you.
Oh, no.
It is a Mexican sweet bun and a hot dog that's been rolled in bacon and fried. And then they smother it with pinto beans, a jalapeno relish, ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise.
That sounds good. I'd try it.
It's fucking amazing. So I lived in Phoenix and then also lived in Tucson for a short period of time back in 2012, 2013 maybe. and went to the original spot because I saw it on Man vs. Food, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta try that."
Ooh.
Yeah, went there, had it, and it's worth the money you pay for it. It's in this old, like, you go up. It's almost like a McDonald's, but it's like it looks shittier. I don't know how else to explain. Yeah, it's diabetes on a bun, basically. Yeah, it is the
That's something
diabetes.
similar with the Hawaiian roll.
You probably could. Actually, that sounds. I feel like I need to go do that right now.
Oh, he says it's the deep fried Mars bars.
It's no deep fried Mars bar. Oh my! I mean,
Oh, I was like, I like deep fried Snickers. Those are delicious.
how about a deep fried Oreo?
I don't like Oreos.
No? Oh man, the deep fried Oreos.
It's just gross. I don't know. I've never liked Oreos. I would always, when I was a kid, I used to just eat the center and then I'd throw the cookie away. Even though now that I'm older, I'm like, I'm eating like plastic or something. It literally has the texture of plastic. I'm like, oh God.
Especially if we gotten older.
I think I've had a deep fried Oreo actually. Now that maybe did I? I don't know. Maybe not. No, probably not.
Deep fried
Twinkie.
Yeah,
I hate Twinkies.
Yeah,
They're so good.
I did that once.
Twinkies and ho-ho cakes were just disgusting.
They're so.
I don't know why anybody liked those. Those are so gross.
No, and I feel terrible because as part of our little Christmas gift exchange that we did with Will Doherty from Barber Docs Club, I sent him over some Twinkies because it's Americana, right? And I didn't know that you could apparently get Twinkies over there, but they're not the same, right? And as soon as he opened up the box, he pulled one out of the wrapper and he shoved it right in his mouth. And I was like, "Oh, you really are about this." And I was like, "So how does it taste compared to Britain's?" And he was like, "Y'all's just so much better." What the fuck does y'all's taste like? Is my question.
Well, it wasn't full of chemicals and stuff.
We got the good
right.
shit.
Right.
I like some of the crazy stuff they eat over there. Like, I'm not eating the deep fried Oreos or whatever, but I'm eating haggis. Haggis is so good. I love all that weird organ meat. That stuff's so delicious.
Yeah, so I bet you eat tripe too, don't you?
Oh yeah, tripe, moche, cabeza, lengua. That's all. Ooh, go to the taco truck.
Now you're starting to talk about different things. The two other ones there I can eat because of the way they're cooked. Tripe, any way, shape, or form that I've had it, it's just gummy shit in my mouth.
I had pho the other night, and I had pho with the rare beef and tripe, and they always give me the look when I'm ordering it. They're like, "Are you sure you want that?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes, I do. I ordered it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Are you sure, white girl?
Exactly. Oh God. Oh my God. There was a hot pot place in the city I used to live in where they literally wouldn't give white people certain things. They literally would be like, "You're white, you can't get that." And the guy's like, "I want this. I want this like weird kidney blood or whatever, or some weird like organ or something. I don't know." There's this dish in Vietnam. It's called bun bo hue, and it's like a thicker noodle and broth, and then organ stuff. Like there's blood sausage. I think there's like kidney. There's some.
I can do that.
I want to say heart. There's only one thing that's kind of gooey. Like one of the tendons is kind of gooey. That one I struggle with. I can't. There's certain, if it's like too fatty, I struggle with that. But
I'm waiting for Joe's faces because he is the.
Oh, black pudding's delicious. I love black pudding.
Black pudding is delicious.
So
it is
good.
Delicious.
When I was in Scotland, I definitely made sure to get black pudding. I was doing everything. Haggis and black pudding was like all I was eating. I don't do Scotch eggs though. I absolutely hate hard-boiled eggs to the point of where they make me nauseous to look at them. So.
Really?
Hard-boiled eggs.
So here, we'll pop this question up there, even though we were just touching on it. What is one that you're interested in trying that you haven't already?
I have been to UK a few times. The best thing is the fish and chips. That's really good.
Right, but what's one thing that you haven't had that you'd like to try?
Probably just some of the weird pastries. They have some. They have some. I don't know if I've ever had a proper spotted dick. Phrasing, but I don't think I've ever actually properly had the spotted dick before, which is a dessert. That's nothing phallic. It's just the name of the thing. Do you want a real experience?
So-
My friend and I went in like 10 years ago, and we met up with. I have a girlfriend who she grew up in America, or she grew up in England, but then she spent high school in America, and then she's back in the UK. And I met up with her in London with my friend. She gave us a nice. We had Sticky Willies and Lambrini. The British people they'll know what Lambrini is. It's like the absolute gutter prosecco or Moscato. Like it's so disgusting. Oh, Greg. Oh, that is it. That's what I need. I need a Greg sausage roll because when I went to Greg's, they didn't have the sausage roll. So I got a pocket of something. I literally think it was liquid meat inside of this pocket. I don't know what it was, but it tasted delicious. I was like, I don't think I just ate food, but it was good. But I was really disappointed. I did want to get a sausage roll, and that particular Greg's was out. And I should have just gone to another one and tried because they're fucking everywhere. But I also want to do, now that I know some Manx, next time I go, I'm going to do this right. I got to go to Witherspoon's.
Yes, I heard that's...
I walked past it, and I looked inside, and I was like, But I wasn't feeling very confident going in there.
Well, was it sus? Was it just like completely sus?
I just had heard it was like an experience, and the person I was with, I was like, I don't want to bother. It was a guy, and we had like some blurred lines, and I had kind of decided at that point I wasn't really into him anymore. But we were kind of stuck on this trip, and we'll just say it got really awkward at the end of the trip. But we weren't at that point yet. But
that's unfortunate.
I kind of just wanted to go to bed at that point.
We got a Spurs fan.
So we went, Weatherspoon.
Oh.
We went to a Spurs game, and then he came to a Manchester game with me. So it was good. He had a fun time at the Spurs game. So we went to the new Spurs stadium, and Harry Kane scored 2 goals. And I was trying my best not to feel like Spurs because I absolutely hate them. So and then at some point I was just like, I'm just gonna get drunk, and he kept buying me drinks. So I was like, I'll just film the game for you. I'll be the tourist, and I'll film the game. And I filmed Harry Kane scoring a goal. So gotta appreciate that.
Right. Hot pot or tater hash?
I don't know it. Hot pot to me means probably something very different than. I'm like, I know what Asian hot pot is. I don't know what British hot pot is.
I imagine they're probably the same. I hope so. At least
tater hash, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, we need to have we need to all go to Manchester and like meet up with the boys out there. Meet up with Martin, meet up with City Luke, meet up with Tone, meet up with Not My Lifetime Luke, and we'll have them take us to Weatherspoons. That'd be a party.
Mary D's is the party.
I went to Mary D's for the pregame.
Listen, if I can somehow or another talk to the owner of Mary D's and let them allow me to come over and DJ for an hour, that would make me happy.
They did have a DJ from what I remember. And people were very lively. Like we were singing songs in the pub before.
No, I desperately want to do that. I want to do it with Jack Grealish because apparently he DJs too. Like, yeah.
Are you gonna wear the headband? You gotta wear the headband.
Totally.
Also, the Kevin De Bruyne headband subplot this season. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I love when he wears the headband. I'm like, oh, that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, KDB's headband. Yes. I'm very into like the hair. I have no idea why. I'm just super into like. I always notice people's hair. Like Ederson's hair yesterday, amazing. Like poofy, fluffy.
He got a little trim. That certainly helped because the last couple of times I've seen him, it was.
Yashko always has great hair. Oh, so good. I don't know. It's just little side things like, and that and shirts. I love looking at the shirts. Like one of my friends and he's a Liverpool fan, and he and I actually have a hard time talking footy anymore. He is so unbelievably like scarred for life from City. So we have to find things that are not football related, not directly football related, to actually discuss football. It's usually via shirts. So whenever new shirts come out, I'm like, what do you think of this? He's obsessed with the 4th kit. He says it's a goddamn work of art. That was his quote. I was like, yeah. I didn't like the 4th shirt.
It looks like somebody took a piss on their shoulders.
That pink color is like Pepto-Bismol that sat out in the sun for too long. Just looks
doesn't mix with the yellow.
But yeah, it's that highlighter Mountain Dew yellow piss on the shoulders that I'm not.
I don't know.
Not
no.
Again.
I mean, you got the second shirt so right. The second shirt slaps.
Right.
I think it's so nice.
You took a classic and you redid it.
And
Let's
it's beautiful.
continue that trend. I like that trend. Let's continue
Keep
that
it
trend,
simple.
right?
It took
I'm
me a
not
long time to
okay.
warm up to the home shirt, but I ended up buying it. I needed some with the Club World Cup patch on it. So
I love it because of the whole 0161 thing, like representing the area code. And I find it kind of crazy that people haven't latched on more to that for this season. Like, represent the 0161. Like, I'm about that. I think that's a cool marketing idea for the team. But who am I, right?
I didn't like that shirt until I saw it in person at because they opened up a shop in New York City. So I went in there and I bought like a T-shirt and stuff, and I should have just bought the shirt there. But once I saw it, I had to sit on it for a little while, and then I ended up ordering it. So
it's always when you see it up close, or at least on somebody. When they do the reveal, it's always like, I don't know. It could be, it could not be. Yeah, I feel you, 100%.
I love the neon. I'm like, give me that neon, and like that blue, that navy blue, and the neon. Oh, that's probably why I like that one shirt from the 18-19 season so much. Right, that's an all-time classic. But I love the Hacienda one. That I think that's a trouble season wonder, two of my favorites. And then the one with the white, the little, the sash, the one that's got like it's the white shirt with the sky blue and the navy blue, like little sash.
Blue straight down.
Yeah,
I wore that
yesterday.
I wore that one yesterday to watch the game.
One.
So.
I need to track that one down because I don't have that one, and I love the purple one too. They're talking about those AI renderings of the purple.
Oh my god! I knew you were going to say that.
Purple.
Dude, all those AI renderings were I don't like them at all. But also, it's the fact that it's AI.
Yeah, AI is coming for all of us.
It's coming for all of us now.
Coming for all of us. It's so tragic, but at least love the designers. It's like Puma, they hit or they miss. Sometimes when they miss.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't like the maroon one until I saw it in person too. And that one's a lot better.
Until you realize that it's the ship in the inlay, I could take it or leave it as the same. It isn't super, super special to me. I don't think it's one I'm going to go out looking for later.
I didn't buy it, but
right.
He's not over yet. I like this comment.
No, I will have all of them.
Hotel when completed. No, because you know how expensive that's going to be.
It's going to be
a ripoff.
Yeah,
that's in the hotels in town will be cheaper.
Right, they'll be priced for people that sit at the at the 50-yard mark or whatever.
Yeah.
The midfield mark. Yeah, that's, exactly. Not for us. Not for us.
To our dear friend got the Morium sits.
The old Umbro kits were nice.
Yeah. That like turquoise blue one. The one that King Clancy used to wear. That one was sick. I like that one. It's always fun.
All right, guys. Sorry. It's been 2:45. I know we've been sitting around here for a long time. I know a lot of us want to get off and watch the game. Do you have any final thoughts for us going into Club Bruges?
Yeah, I hope we win in advance because it'd be nice to make the R16 so Marmouche could at least just kind of get going. I think that guy just has so much confidence, and I think it's going to feed off on other players, especially if we get another signing in before the deadline. That could really help us. I know that the midfield is probably just going to be a problem until Rodri comes back in the summer. So I don't know if we can really. My expectations for the midfield in this window are pretty low, but getting someone like Louisin would help a lot. We'll see if it happens, but yeah, let's just keep the positivity going. Let's beat Club Bruges. It'll just keep the good vibes, and it'll keep all the negative thoughts on Twitter away. Certain accounts which have been blocked. Mm-hmm. Don't hear their negativity. I think we all know.
Love freedom of speech in that way, don't you? It's great.
Hey man, everyone's whining about Twitter. I'm like, there's a block button. You can block these idiots, or you can block Magic Top Hat, who's always chatting shit. You can block him. You can block the guy doing those horrible Kyle Walker photos. Just block them. You don't need to see them.
Right.
I don't get why people whine about it. I'm like, just block people you don't want to see.
I like to
Yeah,
mute.
this guy's
people,
right though.
isn't it?
Rodri is going to need time to come back. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to be back until about this time next year, like fully back up.
100% yes. 100% yes.
And the club need to protect him from himself because you know he wants to play in April. It's like, no, you can't.
Exactly.
See you in August as a
Exactly.
substitute appearance. But they need to protect him.
Take it slow when he comes back.
Yeah, because look at Tyron Mings today. We don't want that to happen.
No, we don't want that. We don't. No.
We don't want that to happen to Rodri. We need we see how bad we are without Rodri. We need to make sure he stays on the team.
Exactly.
By rotating him and resting him properly and letting him come back slowly.
Exactly.
We're not putting that pressure on him too. I think the mental pressure is going to be too much.
Right. Well, I think he can overcome that. If a man can choose to willingly not have social media and stuff like that, I think his willpower is pretty high, better than ours at least. But
that was the funniest thing about the Ballon d'Or. Is like, oh, Rodri's not even on social media, so he can't see anybody talking crap about it for winning.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Somebody
All
said
right,
a line
Kelly.
that they said he should create an Instagram account, post one picture of himself holding the Ballon d'Or, and then never post again. Be a drop the mic type pic. Oh, we don't
All right, Steve. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here too. Kelly, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us finally, talking
thanks for
City
having
and all
me.
that good stuff. Absolutely,
A lot of fun.
we'll have you back again in the coming season. Everybody else out there, make sure that you're looking out for Luke. He'll be on in February with us. We also have another special guest that will be coming on during the month. I'm not going to tell you all yet. But until Wednesday, when we come back and we review the Club Bruges match, I'm going to say make sure that you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, make sure you're following us on social media at SnobbyPod. Make sure you go check out our store. I put something new in there. I just didn't tell you. Go check it out. We will be, like I said in previous episode, we will be going through our the catalog together. You guys will get to choose as to what goes and what stays. Until then, we will see you, and I'm going to leave you this one. Yep.